Abaticola and Ferrari discuss everything. With Matt Abaticola.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
I'm sorry I ruined your New Year's Eve party. She tastes like cigarettes.
And Jason Ferrari.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Two complete nincompoops with microphones and access to the World Wide Web. Presented by Mickey Finn's Brewery in Libertyville, Lake County's oldest brew pub. Now, here are your hosts for this shit show, Abaticola and Ferrari.
Hello there, podcast friends, and welcome into another episode of Abaticola Ferrari Discuss Everything. This is episode number 19.
Crazy.
It's called Pink Punters. He's Ferrari. I'm Abaticola. Glad to have you downloading and listening to and enjoying the program once again. Of course, we are brought to you by our good friends at Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub. They're located at 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful and historic downtown Libertyville. Check them out on Twitter at Mickey Finn's. Of course, lots of ways to connect with our program on Twitter as well at AFDE Show. You can connect on Facebook, facebook.com/AFDE Show. And you can email us anytime at afdeshow@gmail.com. There's a common theme running through our social media connections. Think about it. You can figure it out and let us know at one of our social media connections. Hope you had a fantastic Christmas. We certainly did. We'll get into discussing our festivities and holidays. Of course, everything's always better with kids around. We were able to both experience that of the children or niece nature, so we'll get into that a little bit. I still have a family Christmas to get into this weekend. Saturday, getting together with my brothers and sister-in-law out at her house this Saturday, so we still have more Abaticola family to celebrate.
Elgin?
Yeah, Hampshire, Elgin. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, so we'll be out there on Saturday celebrating, bringing the boys out for a party. They're always down for a good party.
Yes.
I had a great Christmas with the little guys. Christmas came on Christmas Eve. Santa stopped over to my place on the 23rd, 24th, that time frame.
I was going to say, you kind of did, you had them early.
Yep, so they were
early Christmas Eve. So
we did Christmas Eve, and they were all prepared for it, knowing that Santa was coming. We had left the magic Santa key hanging outside our apartment door because I don't have a chimney. And there has to be a way for Santa to get in.
Oh, man.
So it's another way for retailers to capitalize on people. They make these giant ornamental gold keys, and they sell them for $15.
Oh, but that's a really, really good idea.
Smart
for
idea.
The kids.
Something that I wish I would have thought of.
Yeah.
So then I put it in a because the boys don't listen to this show. They don't download. I put it in a padded envelope, and I addressed it to them from Santa North Pole. And our elf on the shelf, Buddy the elf, had it waiting for them when they came home one day. And there they opened the mail up, and there was a note inside from Santa saying, "Here's my special key." Oh yeah, they were loving it. I mean,
nice job, Santa.
Yeah,
that's really good.
It was a good move. So we had that. Of course, the presents they just ripped through one after the other. Of course, the thing they played with the most Christmas Eve morning was
the boxes,
the $1 tub, $1 each of slime with plastic bug inside of it. That was just like a last-minute throw-in. You walk down the aisles at Toys R Us, and there's a stocking stuffer aisle, and there it was for $1. And I'm like, I'll grab a couple of these, and that's what they played with most of the mornings. That was cool. The giant racetrack that I bought, the remote control racetrack.
Multiple times that I've seen the boys, there has constantly been upgrades in the racetrack.
Yes.
So this is another upgrade in the racetrack.
So I ordered it online, and it looked cool, and I was like, all right, it's got some loops and whatever, I'll get it. And you don't really take down the dimensions and try to figure it out. I didn't really estimate how big it was. It actually took up my entire kitchen. It was that large. It was
no, I saw
a lot bigger than I anticipated. And then I was on the kitchen floor when they woke up, and I told them to come into the kitchen, and I was videoing them as they walked in. I wanted to see the reaction to the remote control racetrack. Neither one of them saw it until they almost stepped on it. Because they were kind of waking up.
How
still.
early was this? Yeah.
No, I mean, was that no? And of course, Christmas Eve they slept in.
Yeah.
On any normal weekday, one of them's up before 6 harassing me. So
God,
they both.
what's the sleep?
6:45.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was up at 5:30 excited. I'm having coffee, and by the time they woke up, it was like my third cup of coffee. I was bouncing off the walls. I'm like, I'm going to wake them up soon because this is
Three
garbage.
cups of coffee by 6:45.
Right. By the time they wake up, I had a pot of coffee. I'm like, I'm jittering and I'm shaking.
Come on, kids, let's play with the racetrack.
I'm ripping off the papers off the. Daddy, let us open. I'm like, no, come on, we gotta go faster. We gotta go faster. Dad, Hank was like, Daddy, too much coffee. So no, it was great. Always great with kids, and of course, with Grandma there too. So Grandma, that was always more fun to have.
Did she love it?
Oh no, she did. Seeing
That's
the kids
great.
do it, yeah, it was
That's
good
great.
stuff. What about you?
Christmas was great. We had as a overall family, we had a rough go of it though. So there was a let's call it patient zero flu virus that attacked everybody. So Sebastian, my brother's wife's son, Matt's stepson, came home with it on, I believe it was like Wednesday, and then Stevie got it, and then because my parents babysit Moxie, my brother's new baby, newish, 7 months, 6 months, 7 months. She got it. Matt got it. Chris got it.
Wait, Moxie had it?
No. Well,
your
I
mom.
don't know.
Your mom had it. Okay.
I haven't spoken to them lately to see if she
Cool.
got it. But yeah, both my parents got it.
Are we talking like the achy body flu fever, or are we talking the stomach?
Vomiting and shit.
Oh.
And achy. Like, they got a bad version of it, right?
Thanks for letting me know after I got here.
Well, no. So but I mean, like,
Hope I get
everyone.
sick.
Chris got it, and then Megan got it, my brother's girlfriend.
Yeah.
So it's just, but you know what? You've been around my family. Like, everyone rose above it. Great time, great food, super fun. But yeah, it's my first time as an uncle, and getting to celebrate with Mox was just awesome. Obviously, she's not even one; she doesn't understand it. But I think Did you see those photos on Facebook? I don't know if you. I mean, I don't. You're not really like paying attention to Facebook.
No,
right? Like,
just the work stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
On the break, I'm gonna share these photos. Unbelievable. She was like super fun. It was just fun to watch. To see someone who's it's her first Christmas.
Yeah, just wait till she gets a little older.
I know.
I mean, it's crazy.
It just made
It's
it
insane.
really cool because I've never, as an adult, well, obviously I've never been an uncle, but I've never seen someone from this perspective experience their first Christmas, watch, my brother being a dad.
Right.
Like, it was outstanding. It made this Christmas totally different and so much better because, I don't know, like as adults, Christmas is great. It's still my favorite holiday. Like, I love Halloween and stuff, but Christmas is my favorite because it brings a lot of people together, and it feels different than any other holiday. But being able to see it kind of through Matt's eyes, was like super cool.
Yeah,
it made it so much more special.
Kids make every holiday even more fun, and as Moxie gets older and other kids come along in the family, it just gets that much better. And with my guys at almost 5 and over 3.5, I mean, they're totally into it. It was great. Using the Elf on the Shelf thing was very meaningful this year because they were, they would start acting up and tell them Buddy's watching, and they would zip it right there, and they were
You're gonna really
interested
appreciate
what
one of
Buddy.
my funny stories.
Okay, they were really curious to know, what Buddy was doing the night before, and if they, they didn't sleep over that night, they would ask me the next day, when you woke up, what was Buddy doing, and I would just, I wouldn't obviously set him up for just me, but I would have to, tell him what he was doing.
I know. I mean, like, I know you get bored.
They last Friday, I picked them up from school, and they had made gingerbread houses at school. Okay. So they brought them home, and they picked at them a little bit that night, and we were done, and I was like, hey, are we done with these? Can I throw them away? And they were like, no, you can't throw them away. I want to keep them. And they don't keep. So I was like, all right. So they go to bed, and then that night I dumped about 90% of the gingerbread houses in the garbage, and then I set up Buddy the Elf on one of the plates that the gingerbread house was on, and they woke up.
Ate it?
Yeah. And they were like, "Oh, gingerbread houses," and I'm like, "Oh, Buddy must have ate them." They were like, "Oh, okay."
How tragic
So
is it going to be?
It was
when
cool
they
that
listen to this show in 20 years,
right? And they were like, "Oh, so it's cool that Buddy ate them, but like, had I thrown them out, I'd been like the most evil dad in the world."
All right, you've been very, very smart and very strategic with the key.
Oh yeah. I wanted to make it super special for him. So it was fun.
They deserve it.
Yeah, it was great. And then all the gifts and all the toys, and my mom made her homemade meatballs.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So I had her 7:30 on Christmas Eve.
That's like your favorite thing.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing in the world. Her sauce and meatballs. And so 7:30 a.m. I'm like, hey, why aren't you in the kitchen? Like, I'm sorry, are these meatballs going to make themselves? So the whole day, Christmas Eve, I'm yelling, Ma, the meatballs.
We were
and I know somebody's going to say, oh, it's not meatballs, it's meatloaf.
No.
I know that, but
so
that was the point.
This is amazing. Christmas Day, Trish slept in. I know this is shocking to everybody. But I got up and went with my parents to Matt and Stevie's house to kind of watch. Well, Sebastian opened his gifts, and Moxie in her Santa outfit that you'll see in the in the photos I'll show you in a little bit. We went over there, and then afterwards, we all went to visit my grandpa, who was in a nursing home in Arlington Heights. And we were on our way back, and I was telling the story. And I'm like, Dad, you've seen the movie, right? And he's like, yeah, but it's not meatballs. It's meatloaf. Which I thought was hilarious because now, dude, obviously that's just hilarious. If you know my dad, it's super funny. But I'm like, no. And then my mom's like, oh, that is funny. And then we were like all laughing about it. So everyone got a good laugh about the meatballs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. And so again, I know it was meatloaf, but it fit the whole thing.
I just knew you would appreciate it more.
Yeah.
Big Al's like, yeah, but it's
meatloaf. Yeah, but she thought it was funny at first.
Not meatballs.
Yeah, she thought it was funny at first,
yeah,
and then it eventually wore off on her, but then the more angry she got, the more funny it became for me. So had to keep doing it.
You got to poke the bear. But yeah, I mean, if the movie would have been more about that, I'm sure he repeats it. We only just saw him say it once.
Yeah. So then that was great. Actually, we did Christmas the weekend before with Abigail because she was with her mom's family for last weekend, and then she just went to Arizona actually today with her grandparents. So we did a little Christmas early with Sissy. So that was fun seeing her bring the stuff for the boys.
Is that what they call her?
Yeah, Sissy.
I like it.
Yeah, that's why I had the stockings made up. I had Grammy because they call Grandma Grammy. So we had Grammy on her stocking, and I was Daddy, and then Sissy, and then Hank and Jackson. Yeah, so which was nice. Got the stockings all done. So the apartment was decked out good. The tree looked great. Abigail did the tree and ornaments and lights, and the boys helped her. So my tree initially had 90% of the ornaments on like the bottom three rows.
Of course, yeah.
And there was like nothing on the top. And Abby was like asking, I'm like, just leave it until they go to bed. We'll fix it.
The 5-year-old and the 3-year-old need a step stool. So that's just really healthy for kids.
I let Hank pick out an ornament, like one special ornament when we were at the store, and he picks out it was a red and silver glittery table saw ornament.
He didn't know what it was, right? He just
he knew it was a saw. No, he knew it was a saw.
He's like, Daddy, I want a table saw.
And he's like, I want a saw. And I'm like, okay.
All right, this kid in the sports, he's manning up. He's manning up.
On the sports realm now, he is a 9-0 as a Bulls fan.
I saw that.
So the two games they've lost recently, the Cavs and then the Celtics, that was over the weekend where we weren't together to see those games, so he didn't watch. But ever since they beat the Timberwolves and started their 7-game win streak, Hank has watched 9 of 11, and they are 9-0 in those 11 games. Finally, getting some recognition by the Bulls Twitter account. They retweeted a video of Hank that I posted, and when we were going for 8 in a row, they retweeted the video of Hank and they said, "Stay awake, Hank. Let's go for 8." Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it the one? All right. So I went backwards because I know you were tweeting about it, but I didn't. You didn't tell me about it until like later on.
Yeah.
So I went backwards in your feed, and there was something I noticed outside of Hank sitting on the couch watching it. Was it that one?
Yeah, that was the video.
Okay. My favorite part about it was like Jack's appearance, not once but twice
with the blanket.
Yeah. So he comes in, like kind of, Dad. I can tell he's already. You told me he's like, I don't want to be on camera. So he kind of rolls in, but then I just love that he rolls in and then he's off camera for a bit.
Yeah.
And then the long ass blanket is on the floor and Hank is like talking and going. Like trying to like get off the blanket. Like,
he stops. He waits till Jack pulls the blanket out of the way, and then he goes to the TV.
Then he goes back,
right? And then at the very end of that clip,
so funny.
I didn't edit it out, but at the very end of the clip, you hear Jack go, "Who's my guy?" Because we're talking about who our favorite guys are, And Hank's favorite player is Denzel Valentine, and now he refers to him as the heart guy because it's Valentine.
Makes sense.
And then he calls my guy Nico Mirotic, he calls him the beard because he has the he said big mustache, and then I said that's a beard. So now he's the beard guy, the heart guy are his two favorite players.
All right.
So they've gone 9-2 since Hank started watching, but he didn't watch the losses, so they're 9-0.
Yep, there you go.
Which is great. Last night he made me pull the sofa bed out because he wanted to stay awake as long as he could and watch as much of the game as possible.
I love that, man. That's got to be so much fun.
No, it's awesome. So he was up for he was up into the fourth quarter last night.
That's got to be so much fun.
With about 6 minutes to go before he finally passed out, and then first thing this morning, did the Bulls win last night, Daddy? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, what were the numbers? He wanted to know what the scores were. Right. So, yeah, he's really into it now, and table saws, and so I think I'm gonna get tickets for a Wolves game. Take him to a Wolves game because he wouldn't last an entire hockey game. I don't think, and Jack definitely wouldn't either. So if we bail after a first period,
if you do, let me know.
Yeah,
because those are so much fun.
Wolves games are great.
They're
great for
fun.
Families, and tickets start like $11. So
but like Trish and I could blue line it out there. Yeah. She would love those are so much fun.
And I figured that route, if we go after the second period, it's not gonna be that big of a deal, and it's going to Rosemont, it's not going to the city, the UC, so it'd be a lot easier.
I took my parents to one and they loved it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
The only other time we've ever been to any other game was my neighbor, my parents' neighbor John Hansen is the backup to Honda. So he does that. Yeah, so like we went and listened to him do the game, but they love the Wolves game.
It's fun.
It's fun.
And I think I'm going to get tickets and take them to the Medieval Times, too. I think they would like that.
Dude.
All the knights and stuff. The swords.
Oh, yeah. The Green Knights, my guy.
That's all they do.
I am undefeated with the Green Knight.
Dude, some of the best $6 I've ever spent were these $3 foam swords, $3 each at Walgreens.
Yeah.
And, dude, they
smack the shit out of each other.
They beat the crap out of each other.
Oh, yeah.
Until Hank and I do it, and then I'm hitting him, and he's hitting me as hard as he can. He goes for my face, and he wrapped me across from behind and caught my eye the other day.
It's in your eye.
Right. So I'm down on the ground holding my eye. I can't see out of it. It's watering like crazy. Jack's kicking me. Hank's smacking me in the back of the head. I'm like, fellas, give me 1 second.
At the very least, they understand attack mode.
Right. When a man is down, to step on his throat.
Yes.
They know how to do it.
Teamwork.
It was great. It was great holidays, and everything was just really, really awesome with the boys. But so where are we at? We're on December 28th.
Yeah.
Right? December 28th for us.
This is our end of the year episode.
19 episodes in.
Which is crazy. So I put something next to Christmas, which I'm sure seems weird. And I think I texted you about this, probably a month ago. And I feel bad that I forgot to bring this up on the air. But so at Philly Bros, my buddy's restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
This guy Boris, right now, I didn't know his name at first, but he came up and said, "Hey, are you Jason Ferrari?" And I'm like, that's always weird. So the last time anyone said that to me, that's now my wife.
Oh,
you're Jason Ferrari, right? And I gave her
Boris, if you're listening, there's a chance. You never know.
You gonna murder me was my first thought,
or marry me.
Yes. So murder me or marry me. Those are your two options. You're welcome, babe.
It's like a new game show.
Yes.
Murder me or marry me.
That
sounds, actually, that's something guys would go for. You get a bunch of hot chicks. Would you marry them or murder them? Because you could go either way, probably.
That's the opposite. But anyway, I'm like, well, that's a strange question. He's like, no. I listened to AFDE show, and I heard about Philly Bros on the show.
Okay.
Dude lives in the burbs.
Oh, that works.
So they drove out to check the place out. He loved it. Anyway, Boris, appreciate it. Thank you very much for listening. He knows you from the score. Said he's a big fan. I don't know if you remember Boris. I feel like that's a unique name. But I said, can you imagine the amount of clowns that Matt used to filter through on the phone?
Yeah.
But I feel like you might remember a Boris.
No, the only Boris I remember was our guy Rusty from Stickney, who was a complete weirdo.
Well, just saying that together, Rusty from Stickney.
Loved him dearly. He's a good man. A big part of our show years ago. His best friend was named Boris.
Okay.
That's not the same Boris, obviously, but that's the only Boris.
Yeah.
I immediately think of Boris Karloff when I hear the name. Exactly. So, Boris, thanks for listening to the score
super
and
nice
to the
dude,
show. Yeah.
Also taller than you.
Oh.
Very tall man.
A tall man named Boris.
Yes. Good dude. He brought his family, and they enjoyed Philly Bros, so we appreciate you listening. Thank you, Boris.
I had a Philly cheesesteak the other day from a chain place, not even close to what Philly Bros can do, so it only made me want Philly Bros even more desperately.
We will
than
be eating that more on the show. That's an absolute.
Before we get into, we're going to get into a couple different things here before we hit our Bears report, and then we talk about. Actually, we're going to talk about one movie.
Yes.
What we watched or what we watched
changed
segments.
our normal segment to that.
No, that's fine because that's all we really need to get into. A couple things I want to get into here. End of the year. This was from The Verge, and these are the worst pop culture moments of 2017. I want to throw a few of these things at you.
Oh boy.
Just because end of the year, I like doing this kind of stuff, but going in a negative fashion with it. Fake news was a big phrase that right now, as they probably describe it, sounds like nails on a chalkboard. It certainly does. Of course, we can thank 45 for that, for bringing that to our everyday lexicon. Fake news. Everything
lexicon. I like it, buddy.
Everything is fake news except the stuff that they agree with.
or that is actually factual
right.
for the most part. Yeah.
CNN, which the Trump family hates, actually saw Don Jr., who is one of my favorite Twitter follows now because he's one of the dumbest human beings on the planet. Actually retweeted some CNN stuff because it was positive about Trump, but they're just a bunch of it's a complete clown show. So fake news they have is one of the worst pop culture moments of 2017, and I would strongly agree with that. The entertainment industry sex scandals, of course, are going to go down and marking 2017 in a very, very negative fashion. Baby Driver, he's mentioned as one of the best and worst movies of 2017. I've never seen it.
I was looking at the list earlier so we could talk about this, but no clue what that even is.
Baby Driver?
Yeah.
Oh, it's about I think they're bank robbers, and the getaway driver, might be an infant or a younger person. So
yeah, no, I saw it on the list. I didn't know what it was.
You didn't know what the movie at all?
No, nothing about it.
All right, so here's what The Verge had, though, for their 15 best movies of 2017. And I love doing this stuff when it's like the best of, or the movies nominated for Academy Awards. Like I went back through all the movies nominated for the Academy Award, and I've seen like maybe less than 25. You know what I mean? Of all the movies ever nominated.
Me too. Yeah. No, I think you and I. No, I've actually just started trying to catch up.
Yeah,
and I
still
still
thought
don't
about
like
that,
them.
but I don't want to. But the thing is, too, and there was that day, and this I did a few years ago.
But I mean, catching up for like long ass.
Longest time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll go back to.
I'm not in any hurry.
Like the first year and start watching these classic films, and I just don't have the desire to. And it was that day doing that I decided I'm a terrible moviegoer, even though I love movies. I finally watched It's a Wonderful Life. We'll get into that. That's a terrible movie. It's awful. George Bailey is a turd. If that dude jumped into the river and died or got hit by a bus, I think the movie would have been so much better.
Every single time I see
it's just a negative,
that is
crappy,
the number one holiday movie of all time.
Oh,
no.
awful. I got into a huge Twitter war about It's a Wonderful Life. It was great, and not like in a real war. It was between me and Ranji, because Ranji loves It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah,
I hate it
because he's a fucking asshat.
And you have all the people that hate it, all the people that love it. It was really great. So here are the 15 best movies of 2017, and this is according to The Verge.
You're going backwards, yeah?
There's no order here. These are just the best movies. They didn't rank them. They just said the 15 best.
Okay.
Get Out.
Still haven't watched it. Trish said it was good. You said it was good.
Fantastic movie. Loved it.
I'm gonna watch it.
Before I open the list up, I'm like, all right, I wonder. I'm gonna say I saw 2 of these. I'm gonna guess I never heard of 6 of them. That was my guess going into it. So Get Out, I've seen, heard of. It was great. This one, Phantom Thread.
No clue.
Never heard of it. A Ghost Story.
No clue.
Never heard of it. Brigsby Bear.
No clue.
Yep, never heard of it.
Beer or bear? If it was beer, I might have looked at it.
I, Tanya.
I want to see
heard
that.
of.
I was
wanna
just telling
see it.
Trish about it.
Yes.
I want to see it, and I've read great things about it.
So that was never heard of 3.
But we
heard of 2.
A lot of these
1.
things we could actually watch on video, like Get Out is on HBO. I, Tanya is in the theater like right now.
Here is one called, and it's with Jennifer Lawrence, and it's called Mother.
I don't know what the fuck that is. Dude, I saw that.
That was first
I
I
was
heard
looking at the list for this show.
Yeah.
Ironically that you're doing this. I'm like,
never
what?
heard of it. Yep.
Nope.
Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Nope.
Never heard of it. The Breadwinner.
Nope.
Never heard of it either. Lady Bird.
Heard of it? That's it.
Never heard of it.
Only because it's like, this is a great movie, and I saw some people that I actually like on Twitter talking about it. I just don't know really what it is.
So this one confused me, and I had to read the title 7 times to finally understand it. It's called Professor Marston and the Wonder Woman. Never heard of it. And I was like, wait, is that the real title of Wonder Woman? So I spent several minutes going over the title. Okay. Never heard of that movie.
Me either.
They have Wonder Woman on here, which I have seen and is a...
I think it's great.
Yeah,
honestly, I think it's great.
So those are the 2 that I have seen. The Disaster Artist with James Franco.
It looks a little weird, but I want to see it.
I want to see it too. It's gotten great reviews. So that one I've heard of.
I think I want to see it because it looks super weird. I like him, man. I think it'll be good.
BPM. Never heard of that one.
That seems like a stat.
Here's Baby Driver.
All right.
Here, I'll read it to you.
Were you
so
being serious?
But
like what? A kid is driving?
Well, here's it.
All right.
Edgar Wright's gloriously revved up iPod musical Baby Driver is sometimes candy colored and candy weighted with more
musical.
style than actual impact. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a heist movie for the MP3 age, more concerned with how protagonistic Baby experiences his internal world of pop music than how he interacts with the world around him. The soundtrack he's constantly pumping into his ears gives Baby Driver its verve and energy, particularly in an early sequence where Baby bops down the street. So apparently,
everything
his
about
name is
that
Baby.
makes me want to set this room on fire.
Baby's Endgame, blah, 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 writes Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, but the film constantly lampshaded the hero's shallowness, whereas Baby Driver seems to find Baby authentically too cool for school, but its sheer subjectivity is a lot of what makes the film unique.
What the fuck?
I still have no idea what it's about. It's obviously some kind of heist. I'm assuming bank robbers, and the driver, that's the driver, so he looks like a 20-something-year-old, and his nickname is Baby, or his name is Baby.
And he's dressed like Han Solo.
But he's not dead.
No, isn't he wearing...
Yeah.
The guy's dressed like Han
All
Solo.
right, so Baby Driver heard of. You had heard of it. Here's one, The Red Turtle.
Nope.
That was the last one. Never heard of that one either.
Okay. Right,
so
and
congratulations.
What was this?
TheVerge.com. These were the 15 best movies of 2017. I think I've heard of 4 of them.
I'm going to turn the heat down because it's like an attic in here again, and you need to tell me what TheVerge.com is.
I don't know. It's something I found about pop culture, so I can't tell you anything more than that about it. You can look it up on your own. You can do the Google machine on The Verge. So that was their best movies. We're talking about the worst pop culture moments. Let's see what else they have here. Fire Festival. Remember that scam where people paid a ton of money to travel to some exotic island?
Yeah.
And then it was all it was garbage.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that was one of the worst pop culture movies. And I believe, and trust me, anyone who paid money to go there deserves everything they got, in my opinion. Absolutely everything they got.
All right.
Whether it was being urinated on and not having toilets, running water, a place to sleep, you deserve it.
Right.
Here's one of the worst.
Well, yeah, you can read a list of movies that you choose to watch or not watch. These are people who paid to travel to this location.
Right. You deserve the crap you
Yep.
got. All right, so remember, these are the worst pop culture moments of 2017. Here's
I
one
feel like you're reading this like the parent tweets.
I could finally identify with this one, only because I'm just not familiar. I'm sure other people are more in tune with pop culture than I am. But here's one they have that was bad. Stranger Things 2, Episode 7, Punk.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
Stranger Things 2 was a solid sequel with a few frustrating moments scattered here and there. Billy is kind of useless, and the story wraps up a little too neatly. Oh, and also, there is the entirety of Episode 7, which is awful. Changes things up considerably from the rest of the show, focusing exclusively on 11 and some new punk friends. It sets the action away from Hawkins and away from the almost every other character, allowing for some wandering around that ultimately leads to 11 getting a pep talk she probably didn't need and a makeover she did need. It would have been a bad episode on TV on its own, but placed in the greater context of the season, it's almost inexcusable. Remember, Episode 6 ends with basically every character staring down the invasion of those lethal demo dogs.
Yep.
It ends there, and then the next episode is that piece of crap, Episode 7.
You're calling it a piece of crap?
That was terrible.
Okay.
I thought it was an awful episode. Dude, I mean, because there they are. You're at the end of Episode 6, and they're going to get attacked by these demo dogs. You think they're going to die. Like, what the hell's going to happen? And then you have to sit through this entire garbage episode?
Did you ever watch Heroes?
Heroes. I'm going to say no.
Okay. I'm not defending this episode, the whole episode by any means. I appreciate where they went with it. It was just like, I don't know. How do you do this in a Netflix world? Like in a 13 episode episodic universe where we see this and then we see the next one in 2019. Like, I do like the fact that they let her go and do something.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean, and I was kind of like, all right, it's a little ridiculous, but I do love her entrance back in. Like, I fucking
when she came back into the cabin,
so
in the
much,
house,
dressed like that, and everyone is looking at her for so many reasons.
Right.
Like, most remember, like Hop is like.
Like, no, that I mean her entrance,
and then when they're in the car
8,
later, like
right,
what's with
that
the
was
makeover?
that was the only thing that maybe made episode 7 worthwhile, but it just irritated me because I was hoping it would get back to something involving episode 6 and any other character.
I just felt like
thought it was like a waste.
They are. Think about it. In most shows that you and I like, I think that we like character development, right? Where I mean, sometimes it's slow going, but eventually it gets us there, and then makes the series better. We got nothing on her,
right?
So I liked the concept, the whole punk makeover thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't the greatest use of it, but like, and the timing. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I get what you're saying. I didn't like it at all because I mean, I
know what you mean.
8 episodes in season 1, 9 in this one. You could have eliminated that, just kept it going for me here. And
I know. I just mean, I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
It's. I'm glad we finally saw something. It was like strange timing, but like the whole show is strange timing. Like, I don't know. I agree with you, but that's my 2 cents.
All right, and then one last thing here to get into, because we'll jump around here a little bit in segment 1 because this will lead us into another topic.
Yep.
The last thing here, but the worst pop culture moments of 2017, TheVerge.com, they have fans ruining fandoms, and they give a couple different examples of 2017, and one that we'll focus on here are the Star Wars fans ruining The Last Jedi because so many people were so angry and so upset, and I guess it took a really interesting turn. And there was a lot of social media anger and attacks online against actress Kelly Marie Tran, who played Rose Tico.
Yeah.
And apparently going after her weight and her Asian heritage online, like Jedi fans that were angry about her character because she wasn't hot enough. And I guess there was a lot of like posting of some hot Asian actress from Star Trek. And they were like, oh, this is what the Star Trek has, and this is what The Last Jedi. And people like making comments about, I guess she never got away from the buffet table, and like just terrible, awful
How many
stuff
times
because they were angry about
people living in their parents' basement? This is key.
Right. But I mean,
people are like, God, she's not hot enough.
Like people are that angry over Return of the Jedi that they go after this poor girl who's just trying to act in a movie who was probably excited for like the role of a lifetime. And I thought she did great.
I did too.
I thought she was great for the role that she had to do. I thought there was humor, and I thought her timing was great. I just thought that was really wonderful. And I
think she did really well.
I had no idea this was happening, which makes me very glad I don't read anything about the stuff I watch.
Yeah.
Because the stuff
this is the first I've heard of it. I'm not surprised.
Right, it was the first I heard of it. Seeing this, it's just ridiculous. But not that she's ever gonna hear this episode, which is episode 19, Pink Punters. But where's her name? Kelly Marie Tran. We think you did fantastic, and you're a beautiful young lady, and I hope you have a fantastic and very successful movie career. And the losers who live in their parents' basements, as Jason points out, who were attacking you online, are just that.
I did see a headline. I was looking through Yahoo News for something else earlier. I know that sounds hilarious. Yahoo News.
Right.
But I did see a headline that said she was looking at future payday as a result, and that made me happy.
And good for her.
I agree. I think she did a good job.
All right, so let's jump into that real quick. What we watched this week, and we're only going to focus on one thing, and it was just that, Star Wars The Last Jedi. I went last Friday and saw it. Went to the nice show with the reclining leather seats. 10 o'clock show. It was perfect. I got to the
10 a.m.
9:45, and there was a 10 a.m. show, and I'm like, this is going to work. I go to the counter, and the girl's like, all right, well, there's only 5 seats available in the theater. And I was like, oh, that's not good. Thought it'd be less busy. I get there, get my seat on the end, which I was like an aisle seat. The entire row was empty. Like no one, like these tickets were purchased, and they didn't show up. So it worked out really well. I thought it was, 2.5 hours long. There was almost a half hour worth of previews. going into it. So it was a long.
And how bad were those? My guess is they were the same.
Preview after another.
So
one bad,
bad.
one bad, one bad. It was terrible. It was even when I took the kids to go see Ferdinand the weekend before. The kids' previews of upcoming kids' movies looked awful. So anyway, Return of the Jedi, or I'm sorry, the Last Jedi was long. It was a slow build up to the ending, and I consider it here because a lot of people talk about the first act and the second act. I don't know how to break movies up into 3 acts.
It doesn't work that way.
And so
this isn't a play
for me. If you haven't seen it yet, sorry. I never go to the movie theater. I went to the movie theater to see this.
So the last time I went to the movie theater was for the last Star Wars.
And you've seen The Last Jedi.
I went at Friday night.
Right. So for me, the ending starts when the bad dude and the hot chick when they kill Snoke, and then they attack the Royal Guard and they fight and they team up together and they kick the crap out of the guys all dressed in red.
Yep.
That for me is like the start of the ending on. From that point on, dude, I was on the edge of my seat, riveted, just thought it was fantastic. The buildup was all, I thought it was fine. It was great. A little tiny slow. Some things they could have done without. There were some storylines that they took the long way to get around. They didn't really need to. Like going after the Codebreaker guy, and they ended up not even needing the Codebreaker thing. That was a story that was unnecessary, but I get it, whatever. Overall, dude, I thought it was fantastic. I cannot wait for episode 9 to come out to see how it all plays out in the end. To see, really more about her parents, to see the final battle with those two.
I don't even know if that's going to happen.
It might not. I don't know, but I don't know. Overall, I thought it was great.
Then I honestly don't care about her parents at this point.
For me, me, I'm simple. The whole idea is, am I entertained? That I enjoy what I watch, and I certainly did with that. I thought from that moment on with the Royal Guard, it was nonstop, just unbelievable. I thought Luke Skywalker coming back at the end there was fantastic. You had it reminded me somewhat of like what Marvel Studios has done with their movies lately, where you have a nice bit of comedy written in and humor and sarcasm from main characters, yet you're not really deviating too much from the nature of what the movie's about. Like the Han Solo thing or the Luke Skywalker thing, getting shot up, and then he comes out and he brushes his shoulder off.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
Right.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
It did not need to be 2.5 hours.
It didn't. No, I'll give you that.
I understand why. I thought everything up until the point that you just talked about was all over the place, and
there was a lot happening,
and it was annoying the shit out of me as I was watching it. I've now watched it for a second time, not illegally. I mean, I found it online.
When you said that to me initially, my first thought was, because I thought there was a lot happening, but it didn't distract me or annoy me. Do you think it's just your personality that maybe there was just too much going on? Like I agree.
Oh, it was choppy.
That there was a lot.
I just thought it was choppy.
Okay,
it was choppy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's my personality because I know exactly what you're saying. No,
Yeah.
It was just choppy.
Okay.
It's like Jesus. They're like jumping back and forth and come on, man. But then like when like that last. What probably didn't need to be 30 minutes, but I wish, like, if it were 2 hours, like, that was, like, the best part, like, the last 30 minutes.
Unbelievable.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Right? And explained so many things, but everything else was like, God. And then, you're right, like, the Codebreaker, just things in the middle it was very cumbersome.
Right.
It was
like
just kinda
I thought,
come
like
on.
again that whole storyline about going to find the Codebreaker and then going off on their own little adventure and the casino trying to relive, the cantina type thing with the characters, and
right.
I thought it was all unnecessary. And again, there was no payoff to it. Like the Codebreaker wasn't necessary because he broke in, but they didn't do anything. They got caught.
Yeah, it was a big actor, and he disappeared.
Right. Like they could have easily just gotten onto the ship on their own without him and tried to break in. I mean,
not have been Benicio del Toro. It could have been
anybody.
Schmuck. Like it didn't matter.
Did you? You should. I don't know if because I didn't notice all of them, but I saw an article about all the cameos in this.
Well, they cut a bunch out. They cut out a bunch out.
Oh, did they really?
Tom Hardy had a part. They cut his ass.
Oh
out.
no!
I'm like Tom Hardy, how do you cut that guy?
I'll send you the article I saw because these were cameos that actually they were people that appeared in the movie. Some unbelievable names and like the small. Just like that quick roles that they played. I thought it was pretty cool.
No,
I mean,
it is. Send it to me.
I'll send it to you so you can see it, but it was great.
So you mentioned like the comic relief stuff.
Yeah.
I completely agree, but like they always do it with some stupid little bullshit. Like the owl things were funny.
They could have lost those.
But give me a fucking break. Like it just got ridiculous.
The only scene I
would
liked those little
prefer-
owls. The one thing was when Chewbacca yelled and the little one was on his dashboard and
he
he
knocked
screamed
him
too.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you know what I hated the most though were those I told you in the text too, the frog
Those
nuns.
stupid things.
Like,
What
that
the
was
hell
unnecessary.
that?
Yeah.
It was
There
like
was
a
too many.
wasted thing.
That,
No, but-
and when he milks the giant nasty monster then drinks it, it's like you don't need to do that. You can cut that out.
No, that's what like the comic relief. Like that's a Lucas thing.
Yeah.
I think like when we watched the, God, they were remakes. The digital, like they redid them. All of the Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
But then there were like the added creatures. It wasn't anything else. It wasn't any other scenes because clearly they couldn't do that.
Right.
He added in other things. Yeah. I don't know. I just thought those things were dumb. Like I would appreciate if the actors did the funny stuff, like Luke doing the shoulder thing. I'm like,
was great.
Yes.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah. Right. But like otherwise, it's kind of like. I like when the actors do funny
It
stuff.
was great when you texted me too because we both saw the same thing when he when Skywalker makes his big stand there on that salt island, that red salt island thing. He got a haircut and he did the just for men in his beard.
Luke used the Force, or he got just
he
for
was
men.
completely gray and long and straggly, and so he
had a shorter beard.
He had a
shorter haircut.
on the way, right? He like stopped at Sports Clips on the way. I need a trim. I need a haircut ASAP.
Yes,
I got a battle to go to.
Everybody got a shoe polish. Got to color this. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so he colored his beard, he got a haircut for the big fight, yet he's not even there, and he still disappears at the end. But I don't know. Overall, great. I loved it. It's still
entertaining. I agree. It was just like the Force Awakens was outstanding,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's hard to like do that, but I mean, I thought before the other bad prequel ones, the ones that we saw growing up, all of them. The more I watch them, I think they're outstanding.
Well, I hope I would really like if someone does a remake of 1, 2, and 3 episodes 1, 2, and 3. Because I was talking with a couple guys on Twitter last night,
someone
the night before,
black me out and like bring me back to life, and I'd see them.
They're like, when you start, if you're going to show somebody the whole series, do you start at 1? Do you start at 4? And my suggestion was start at 4, 5, and 6, go to 7, 8, wait for 9, and then wait till someone remakes 1, 2, and 3 before you watch them, because they are not worth watching, and they've been on TV everywhere. All 3 of those, and I've tried to watch them. I just can't do it. Whether it's
at least
commercial free TV or
3 was the least
annoying of the right. Absolutely, but 1 and 2 were brutal.
Oh my god, especially 1.
Yeah,
Jar Jar Binks makes me want to slam my head and everything.
And then and I probably hated those more because we talked about this. That's when I went to those like midnight showings while working
with Brian.
15-hour days, then going back to work right away. So it made it that much worse. But yeah,
Agreed.
so overall entertained. Thought it was great, and looking forward to number 9, which comes out in 2019.
Yeah.
So that'd be Christmas time of 19.
I'm assuming
that they're doing.
So we've got.
So 19 is gonna be a big year because you got Stranger Things, the last Star Wars movie. You're also gonna have the final season of, oh good grief, the one on HBO that I love so much with the dragons and the
Game of Thrones.
Their final season's not coming out till 2019.
Not seen 1 second of that.
One of my favorite shows.
Really?
Very entertaining.
All right.
Very entertaining. And most entertaining, you got to watch the SNL skit they did about the making of Game of Thrones, because there's pretty much.
I have seen that.
It's where, but with like the teenage kid who wants more boobs in it.
Yeah, I have seen that.
That's just outstanding. So good. No, but so that comes out in 2019 as well. So
okay.
It's going to be a great year if we all make it.
All right.
If we're not blown up by North Korea before then.
For the love of God.
All right, so that's what we watched this week. Let's get into this story. You don't even need to pull this story up because I think we both know it. I had Apple phones for the last several years. I switched a few months ago. What was it, October? I went to an LG, went to an Android phone, only because the last iPhone I had was an iPhone 7. I did an update to it like you're always supposed to do, and the update ruined my camera. And I took it into my store, my carrier, and they were like, "Yeah, there's really nothing you can do. The update ruined some cameras." They're like, they're hoping that they come out with an update soon that'll fix the cameras. And I know it might not be a big deal, but I take a lot of pictures of the boys. I like to have a lot of memories of the boys, so I'm taking pictures all the time. And every picture was blurry, and it really pissed me off that I felt like they're deliberately doing things on updates to do something with new phones, because the 8's coming out, the 10 was coming out. Yeah. So I was like, forget it. So I was like, I'm so pissed at Apple. I went and I switched to an LG. The Android thing, it took me about 2 weeks before I realized that I absolutely hated it. And I thought, all right, I just need to get used to it. I stuck out for about 5 weeks, went back in. I'm like, I can't do this. This phone is terrible. It's not an Apple. It's not the iOS. I absolutely hate it. I know you were considering getting one, and I texted you, and I'm like, don't do it. I'm going back to Apple. So I ended up switching back, and I had to pay a little more to get into an Apple. I get an 8 Plus, but so now they're saying that some of these updates you do or older phones perform slower.
Well, all of them.
They perform slower.
So all older phones, but it's
after
not
updates.
But it's not just the fact that you have a 5 or a 6 or a 7 and the updates are slowing your phone down. It's the battery. So it was an unintended
I see.
thing.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's like the older your battery as you put these updates on, because these updates require more memory, they mess up your phone, they slow your phone. So, but what's funny is, I guess it's ironic in typical Apple fashion, who love to, your headphones don't work unless you do this.
Right.
You can only use this plug to charge. That's their thing. It actually ended up working in that context and following that trend, that people could have walked into a store and changed their battery, changed their battery, but instead people are like, man, these updates are killing me. I need to get the new phone, which is adding another $1,000 to your bill for upgrading to like the 10.
Right.
So indirectly, Apple's fucking you either way.
Right.
It really is. But I'm not gonna lie, I could not go away from the iOS. I'm too used to it. It's connected to my Mac. But I did make a change that does make me happy. I bought the SE, which has like all the specs of the 7, but it's like the size of the 5, because I'm so tired of a phone that I feel like if I put it in my pocket, I can't sit.
Yeah, and I like the bigger phone. So I'm glad that I had the LG.
Maybe? Like,
no, I just like the bigger size.
No,
yeah.
I know.
So I'm glad I had it, so you didn't make the jump, because it would have been a bad decision. Here's one other story I want to throw at you. I thought this was interesting, because my birthday's in a few weeks, and I turned 45. And so I was like, wow, 40 to 45 really flew by. Like it flew by. So I'm wondering if the next 5 will go really quick before I hit 50. And I was thinking about this, and I come across this story. And this is from Men's Health Magazine. It says, do these things before you turn 50. And I thought, all right, this is interesting. I wonder how many dumb things they have on this list. So I'm going to throw these at you. And so here's the list. Things to do before 50. Buy a house. If is there anything you want to comment on, you can just comment as I go through. Buy a house, have kids, get married, fall in love, eat fish and chips on a pier. Remember, I said some of these would be stupid. Donate blood, read 100 books. I don't know if that's like in your entire life or like in 1 year or however that is. See your favorite band live, which I know you would appreciate. Learn a language, attend a music festival, own a dog, learn to say no to your mother. I don't understand that. Say no to her all the time. Stay out all night partying, see the Northern Lights, visit Stonehenge, remember where the gas cap is, travel somewhere alone. If you have a problem knowing where your gas cap is, you probably shouldn't be driving. Sleep underneath the stars, watch a meteor shower, dance in the rain, become an expert at something, quit a job, check, see a volcano, visit all 7 continents, throw a coin in the Trevi Fountain, take a helicopter ride, no thank you, have sex on a beach, swim with dolphins, go skinny dipping, which would probably lead into having sex on a beach, ride a gondola in Venice, make a snow angel, take part in a protest, own your own business, which is like, all right, everyone can do that. Everyone can do that.
Hey, I started a business. What is it? Don't worry about it.
I started it, though. Go in a hot air balloon, ride an elephant. No, thank you. Climb Snowdonia. I have no idea.
Is that like
I
Narnia?
didn't look it up. I don't know. Jump into a pool fully clothed. We've done that. Backpack across Europe. Perfect a signature dish. Drink beer at Oktoberfest. Run a marathon. No thank you. Get a tattoo. Ride a Vespa. Watch comedy at Edinburgh Fringe. Write a novel. Write a journal. Spend a month technology free. I like that idea. Try drugs. Have a threesome. Go on to an airport. This is amazing. Go to an airport.
Oh, I thought you were just stopping at go to an airport.
No, pick a random flight. Okay, that'd be great to have
like a rom-com
to have that
and
time and money.
income.
Right, that time and money to do that. So those are the 50 things to do before 50. I've done a bunch.
A lot of those. Yeah,
I've done a bunch of those.
Okay,
a lot. I won't be riding an elephant or a Vespa or a helicopter. Those are not going to happen. Not interested.
Yeah.
Unless you ride a Vespa with me, I'll do it.
We need a Vespa for two.
People do that, right? But I think it's usually like a guy and girl. I don't think it's two dudes.
I think it'd be funny if we took a photo for the show of us riding around
Vespas
a Vespa.
And helmets. That's what I want.
Agreed.
All right. So that was the 50 things to do before you turn 50. I've done a lot, so I'm well on my way. I have 5 years to finish those out, and I plan to do that for the show, and I'll report on it. Speaking of reports, the Chicago Bears, they beat the Cleveland Browns. They're heading into their final game of the season here on New Year's Eve, where they take on the division-winning Minnesota Vikings. So congratulations to Minnesota. We don't mean that.
No.
But they have won the division. We'll move on to the playoffs, the only team to represent the NFC North. The Bears can win this game and finish with a record of 6-10 before they fire John Fox on Monday.
Yep. What would be nice is so the Vikings need this win to get a bye week, right?
Yeah, they still something to play for. So yeah, they get this, they'll be the number 2 seed.
Well, fuck them.
And a bye week.
So I'm hoping we upset them. Not feeling real good about it happening, but
I don't see it happening at all.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
It would be nice.
I would be really surprised to see the Bears score 10 points. If they scored 10, I think that'd be a victory. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, well, I guess that moves us to what might happen after.
5-11 season and the firing of John Fox and his staff.
Yeah. Do you think? I think Pace stays.
Oh yeah, I think Pace stays too.
After that, I was showing Matt before the show the NFL has a list of people that they are kind of supportive of or think who are ready for the next level. The obvious people are all of the successful offensive and defensive coordinators, young or old, in the league. One name that I've been an advocate of for a long time, who I just find it odd that is on this list, like it's, here's a revelation, is Dave Tobe. Mm-hmm. Special teams guy, but after the amount of time this guy's been in the league, special teams coaches, they work with both sides of the roster. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to be shocked if we don't interview him, but definitely shocked if he's not hired, based on the fact that if it doesn't happen, good for these people who don't want to be unemployed. But if it does happen, we may have as many as 14 head coaching openings as of Monday or as of next week, which is almost half the league.
The Dave Tobe thing is interesting, and I heard former Bear and radio and TV analyst Patrick Manley talk about Dave Tobe, obviously having been on a roster under special teams coordinator Dave Tobe, and he couldn't talk more highly of Dave Tobe, and he said his only concern would be Tobe being the head coach. And he would obviously have to bring in some younger coordinators.
Right.
And his only fear would be that young offensive coordinator who would maybe leave after a year or two.
Agreed. To go be
a head coach somewhere. And I totally get what he's saying, but I don't like that negative what if type of philosophy.
Because if that's the case, then you bring in someone who is going to bring in people who aren't going to be desirable. Like it's
right. So I would rather have him bring in a guy who gets a job as a head coach offer after a year, if that guy is the best guy at that moment for your job.
Right.
I'm always, because it's like drafting in the first round. I always want them to draft the best guy that's going to have the most impact on your team immediately if you have like a top 10 pick.
Right.
I want you to bring a coordinator in, and you can't have that fear mindset of, oh, and what if they leave after a year? Okay, if they leave after a year because they get an offer as a head coach, that's a good thing.
Like we knew
That's a good thing.
We knew that with Adam Gase.
Right.
And
that's fine.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good thing.
I agree with you.
Then you know what you do? Then you go out and you find the next best guy.
Right. Or you bring in a developmental staff to where the quarterback's coach is equipped.
Or not only that,
to
so
step
like
up.
let's say if you bring in this next hotshot coordinator who might be a head coach candidate in a year or two, he has to have guys underneath him.
Right.
That are going to follow up behind him. And if he leaves, then you move a guy up, your quarterback's coach, your wide receivers coach, whoever it might be on his offensive staff, that you can say, okay, that's our next guy up. So that's what our fallback plan would be, that we're still developing within the same system.
Right. It's hard to replicate.
You can't be in that, right, exactly, but you can't be in that fear mindset.
Right.
I don't like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's hard to replicate, but I mean, look at Philly. You bring in Doug Peterson, you bring in Frank Reich, you bring in John Filippo, however you pronounce his name. But so you've got Peterson, who was an offensive coordinator, never a head coach. You bring in Frank Reich, who was a quarterback's coach in Buffalo, right? You bring him in as your offensive coordinator, and then you bring DiFilippo in, who's been an offensive coordinator and a quarterback's coach. So you've got almost not a line of succession, but you've got a bunch of people who can step up, right? And we kind of did that with Gase leaving and Loggins being promoted. I'm not saying it's the greatest thing ever.
Right.
But that's kind of how it works. Like you want,
at least that's how it should work if you're a successful organization.
Right. You want a system that you can not only promote from within, but it makes sense if you lose someone, you've got someone in-house who can probably do the job, you know? And
you would hope. That's the whole idea.
My only worry with Tobe, and I've been an advocate of this guy getting the job
for years.
Yeah. I was hoping at the time before Pace got hired that it was Ballard bringing him in,
right?
Who is now the GM of the Colts. So I feel like Tobe is a natural candidate option in Indianapolis. But you know, my only worry about bringing him in is what kind of staff can he assemble? I mean, the guy's been around forever, but like in this instance, regardless of who is the CEO of the building,
right,
developing and I think he is, our franchise quarterback is the most important thing. I know continuity on defense is huge, but I feel like we've got some pieces.
No, I mean, you have to have the offensive staff. We talked about this last week. If you're not going to put the talent pieces around Trubisky and bring in the proper staff to develop this guy, he's never going to develop. It doesn't happen on its own.
He's going to be a flame out.
Right, absolutely.
As God, how many first rounders are complete crap versus complete franchise changers?
Most are crap.
Yep. And because they get drafted by crap teams and they don't get developed.
And yeah, if you don't bring in the proper staff, now if Tobe's the guy, and I heard his name associated with the Colts, as you mentioned, and one other team where it looks like he's going to get a pretty decent shot. It wasn't the Bears to interview as the head coach. But again, you know, if he comes in, like, it's so important. Obviously, Vic Fangio is going to be gone. But it's so important for him to be able to put that staff together. And the guy's been around enough, and he's so well respected around the league that I trust he'll be able to get the proper people.
Staff. Or at the very least, get the respective people to come and interview with him. You know, I mean, they're...
You know, and you have to find the right person who is going to come in and just be, you know, in charge of Sundays and practices, because, you know, some guys are going to want to come in and they're going to want full control. It's not going to happen with Ryan Pace. Pace is going to have control of the roster.
Well, I'm hoping that Ryan Pace is allowed to be Ryan Pace.
Well, you know, and so you have to have a coach that's going to come in to not want full control like a lot of guys do.
Right.
You know, like a guy like Josh McDaniels. He wants to go in somewhere and be Bill Belichick somewhere.
Rightfully so. I mean, the guy kind of shit the bed, but did he?
Like I know he crapped the bed in Denver because
I think it was more,
he handled things really wrong.
I think it was more his attitude than anything else.
Yeah, he just didn't handle things properly. Yeah, I think he's a great offensive mind. He just didn't really do the job the proper way in Denver and went about things pretty. I think he walked in feeling like he was Bill Belichick, and he really hadn't earned that type of.
I think he's ready now.
Respect yet. I think so too. I think the second time around, I think a team that hires him is going to do well offensively and do the right thing if they bring him in for a look.
Use Belichick as an example. He was the same cocky prick in
Cleveland.
In Cleveland,
Right.
and now look at him.
What, are they 13 in a row? What is it? Where are they at now as far as divisions? I know it's double digits.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid.
Mid double digits. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
all right. So the Bears beat Cleveland in a really, really ugly game. They got their final game. I cannot believe it's the final game of the season. Like, I am just blown away.
Well, yeah, but when did you start watching? Week 8? Like, weren't you? Like,
when did Trubisky start? The Vikings game, right?
4? Was it 4 games?
That was the first game I watched.
4 games then? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was making a
So
joke.
yeah,
but I know
it was
that,
it was either the 4th or 5th game of the season. I had 0.
Yeah.
I mean, I was getting my updates and my Mike Lennon stuff from you because I was like, what happened? What'd they do? No idea. Like, I didn't even sit down in front of the TV to watch at that point. And I only started watching when Mitchell Trubisky started playing. I'm a big fan of the young man Trubisky.
It's been a rough go.
So yeah, I can't believe the NFL season's over. We're halfway through the terrible cold months of Chicago, so that's good. That's a good thing. We only have January and February left. Now, March isn't good, but it's like I look at like November, December, January, February.
I think February is the worst based on like what sports are on and how like disgustingly cold it is.
Well, yeah, after the Super Bowl, it drops off a cliff.
Yeah, because I'm really excited about the Pro Bowl
because we're bridging a gap from the Super Bowl to March Madness, which I know you have zero interest in.
I love March Madness.
Oh, do you? I didn't know you like.
Yeah, but the gap between sports-wise sucks.
I mean, you're talking 6-7 weeks.
March Madness is awesome.
6-7 weeks before there's anything worth watching.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I think
love it.
the WNBA is on. I don't know. Maybe they're not on. I thought they were. They might
I don't
be.
know if they are.
All right, let's move on. Do you got your questions?
Yes.
For our moderately paced fire questions.
All right.
I have my questions here saved. All right, ready?
I haven't changed mine from when we were going to do this last week.
Here's your first question. It's an easy one too. It's just you got to pick an answer and then give a reason why. Texting or talking? Texting or talking?
I would prefer talking, but not a lot of people want to do it.
Oh, you prefer talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I prefer texting. I think the 13 years of answering phone calls every day for a living, the last thing I want to do is talk on the phone.
I just miss it because the sentiment or what you mean doesn't always come through.
Yeah, especially if it's an important conversation, it totally gets lost.
Man,
I can relate to that.
That causes a lot
pretty
of
heavily.
problems.
You know who's funny is Cowboy Chris. I can text him, he immediately calls. Dude, like seriously, like if I want to talk to Chris on the phone, I'll text him. I won't even call him because I'll immediately get a phone call.
Nice.
Yeah, he doesn't
just send him like ... He'll just give you a call.
Just a question mark. Hey, buddy, what was the question mark for? I just knew you'd call.
I don't know.
All right, so texting or talking? Yours is talking. Interesting. Mine is texting.
Yeah, I mean I text because I have to.
Yeah,
I don't want to, but that's the only way to communicate.
I hate being on the phone.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't need to be on it for 20 hours. Like just I miss that.
You know, the only time I actually liked ever being on the phone was when this is going back to over 20 years. My brother Mark and I, we would talk on the phone, and this is when phones were attached to the wall and there was a cord. Every Monday night for at least 90 minutes every week.
Really?
We would just talk just to talk about the week and what was going on, and we'd sit on the phone for at least 90 minutes every Monday and talk on the phone.
Nice.
Yeah. That's the last time I liked being on the phone.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, once in a while, like I think about it now, and I'm like, God, I wonder if I could call Dave or Dan, and we could. I'm like, I'll just text them.
I don't need to talk to every single person I text, but I would like to talk to most people I text.
I hear
more.
you, and I'm not sure if I could even talk for 90 minutes.
I didn't say 90 minutes. Give me 5, man.
All
right. What hobby would you get into if money and time were not an issue?
Oh, would I have to have the required skill, or could I just get into it? Because you know what I would like to do? I would like
that. Nah, I just feel like
I would like to restore an old car.
Me too.
Like a '65 Mustang.
Exact same thing.
Yeah, but I would have no idea how to do that.
I've told Trish about this too. Like I would love to
restore an old car, or actually buy and flip a house. I would love to do that.
Yeah,
I don't have any of those skills.
I just think the car thing would be like awesome.
Car thing would be great.
Yeah.
Take a piece of crap car and
yeah, man, get like a 70 Chevelle or something
Yeah.
and like fix it up. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, no, I'd like it's like a 64, 65 convertible Mustang, like a piece of crap, and,
Yep.
and make it look
Same.
gorgeous.
I
Yeah.
would love to do that.
Interesting.
And learn how to, but like
Right.
have the time and the money to do it.
All right, favorite day of the week and why?
It's so lame, but like Friday, obviously, because it's the weekend. But no, I mean, that's really it. Like, I love Sunday because of football.
Yeah.
But I hate Sunday because I have to go to work on Monday.
Yeah.
So Friday.
Yeah, Fridays always feel good. Fridays always feel good. I like Sundays. I like Sundays. Sunday's my favorite day, and I don't even think about the next day having to go to work. I just like Sundays are just like a relaxed, kind of casual.
When you wake
go
up,
to church,
like later
family
in the
day,
I'm
and
like,
yeah,
no.
yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
And usually,
Maybe in the
usually
morning, I like it.
lots of good shows. Yeah, Sunday mornings are really good. I love Sunday
Yeah,
mornings.
no, because you wake up
Yeah.
and you still got nothing. You still don't have to go to work.
Yeah.
It's just nighttime where I'm like, oh shit.
All right.
What job would you be terrible at?
I would be bad as like a hairstylist.
Yeah, exactly. I probably would be too.
I'd be terrible at it.
I always all right, because I told you, like when I write these down, I don't
think about it.
think about them. Just anything involving like dead people or like
like a mortician,
like yeah,
funeral home operator.
not be terrible at it. I'd be terrible at it because I have I couldn't do it. That's just awful. Like no, that would be my thing.
And I can't answer this one because I honestly don't remember. Last song you downloaded.
Well, I use Spotify, so I don't download anything anymore.
Me too. So
Before
that, I used Apple Music. So
but the last song I downloaded, you know how I do because the wedding intro thing started with you.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell you what the song is, but the last time I did it was several years ago because I had to rip a song that I didn't own for someone. But shit.
Yeah, I have no
clue
idea.
when and no clue what.
Because it's streaming music now.
Yep.
I don't even need to.
What's the farthest you've ever been from home? Home being clearly anywhere in Illinois.
Yeah. I don't know, what's further away, Spain or Ireland?
Spain.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Mine is Amsterdam.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
You know where I'd like to go? I've been reading a lot about is Norway. Norway apparently is supposed to be a great place to live.
I'd like to go kind of anywhere at this point.
Yeah, or Switzerland.
Just travel. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Outside of the country.
Traveling would be nice. Wisconsin Dells right now would be a nice travel vacation.
Time and some kind of disposable income.
All right. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or able to talk to animals?
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about languages.
Animals.
I would totally want to talk to
100%.
animals.
Like,
Yeah.
I would immediately get out of my car, stop the squirrel, and be like, "Dude, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, what's the deal?
Well,
you go halfway, you go back. You go halfway, you go
Right.
back. Go
That
one
and
way?
like the
Like, why do you do that?
Know, the judgy look. I just they're shaking their head
Right.
in some kind of disapproval, and I'd be like, "Tell me."
Yeah. Them.
Yeah.
A rabbit, because you see a rabbit all the time, and rabbits they're like statues. And then you get close enough, and then what are you thinking about? Like you trying to look like you're a statue that I might not think you're there anymore? Like what's going through your brain right now? Horses. I want to ask about their pee, like why they pee so long. Like it's a lot of pee. Like do you pee once a day?
No,
I'd like to ask
animals
a
for
horse.
sure.
Yeah,
Animals for
yeah.
sure.
I don't really care about.
I don't give a shit.
If you could make me fluent in Italian and then able
That's
to
it.
and then able to talk to animals.
Honestly,
at the same
that's
time.
it.
Yeah.
Like I could give a shit about any other language other than Italian.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. What is something you really want?
Well, that way you could order in your native tongue at Olive Garden.
Yes, because they expect it there. I kind of want to say the what is it? The bottomless breadsticks and
Yes.
salad in Italian.
Right.
Oh God. What is
I'll
something?
take your homemade lasagnatini. Your made up pastas.
Probably is a thing, right?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. What is something you really
With
want
Alfredo
but
sauce?
cannot afford?
Alfredo sauce made with real milk. Thank you.
Is it goat?
Right. No, it's powder.
Did you hear what I said?
No.
Something you really want but cannot afford.
A life.
Honeymoon. Life and honeymoon. There we go.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
one.
What's your fifth?
God, honestly, it'd be a house for me. I need more space right now. Right. Throw myself out of my garden apartment window.
I just need a racetrack room.
I keep throwing myself out the window, and I'm in the garden apartment, and fire department keeps coming.
No,
Sir,
you just keep ending up in the garden apartment because you can't get out of the
Why do
window.
you keep doing this? All right, I have two here. Which one should I pick?
I don't know.
All right, fill in the blank.
Okay.
Taylor Swift is.
Does it have to be one word?
Sure.
Okay.
Or no, you can make it as many words you want.
Who cares?
Taylor Swift is who cares? Mine would be annoying. Taylor Swift is annoying.
Agreed, Ben.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Okay.
Does that articulate how I feel about
Yes.
Taylor Swift?
I think it sums it up in 2 words.
Okay. Wait, do you... Oh, you said annoying. Do you have scars, and which one has the best story?
I have 2. I have 3. I have where my appendix was taken out, and there's no story to that, except I thought I was dying. I have a chickenpox scar on my wrist from kindergarten. The best one, though, is the scar here on my back, my left shoulder. I had a cyst removed at the age of 5 or 6 years old, and they numbed the area. They cut out a circle area of my back as a young boy reading a comic magazine. I remember seeing a portion of my back next to me on like the metal tray. The cyst they pulled out looked like a giant pink bubblegum ball wrapped in tissue. That sat next to me on the metal tray. It was at that point my mom, who was standing up next to me, passed out cold. So that's probably the best story to go with my scar there.
All right.
The best part of the scar, though, are the 3 giant, like long, thick black hairs that grow overnight out of the scar area. It's like I wake up and I'm like,
You're like the Fly.
I'm like, is there a Brillo pad on my back? Like, what? Did someone just put an SOS pad on me in the middle of the night?
You could use it as a coaster.
And then they're like, so I grab things with it. Like I'll just put my back towards it and I'll grab, then I'll shave them off. And then the next day they're there again. They're like the magical.
Somehow you can fly.
Thick black hairs
just
from my scar.
right out of your garden window.
Yeah. What's your? So my mom passing out from my surgery.
Well, I don't have any. Let me think. Best story. So yeah, I have a lot of scars. The one on my nose is from when I had crossed eye and tear duct surgery when I was 4 and 5.
That's because we talked about that.
Yeah.
You wanted cross-eyed.
Yeah, that was a hoot.
Right. You're like, my eyes gonna be crossed.
Really, the only memory I have of it was how much I hate the smell of like rubber, because back then the mask that they would give you when you had surgery was the black rubber. Mm-hmm. So that smell is just fucking awful. I still hate it. Shit. I broke my femur, so I have a scar here. I have a giant scar from my spinal surgery in the front, and then 4 scars in the back.
That's cool.
I have scars on my hands from fighting. Yeah, none of these are funny.
No.
Best story. I'd say femur is probably the best, because spinal wasn't like, hey, this will be good.
Right.
I avoided someone who went through a stop sign, slid down, smacked the ground, and broke my femur, and that's like, I guess that one has the best
story with it.
Story behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah.
Mine, I forgot about one. I don't feel comfortable now telling the story, but it's the scar on my broken heart.
That's a perfect time to go to break.
You know, but as I think about it now, the cyst being taken out of my back, and it was 1978 or 79. Like, do you think today you would take a 5-year-old and leave them awake to watch part of their body being ripped open, and like stuff that's dropped next to them?
Not that part, but those kind of surgeries, I don't think that has changed at all.
Really?
I feel like they just give not setting the stuff next.
Yeah, they
to
just set it next to you.
No, that's different. I just mean giving
Like,
you
they
the
just do local.
local anesthetic.
Yeah.
It's like someone getting a mole removed. Like
Yeah.
they're not knocking your ass out.
Yeah.
Like, because that's just because you know how much that shit.
Right, that
like
could-
the anesthesia is like 40
Well,
grand.
expensive, and people die sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Like
That's
they
bad.
can't. Your heart stops. They
Yeah.
can't bring you back from it. So yeah, I'd say it's a little different that they're not putting the Japanese flag next
Right.
to you. Like,
Right. I'm like,
that is not cool.
I mean, it was like in the back of a drugstore too. I'm not even sure I went to a real doctor. So
I was in Chinatown. Shit was weird.
Right. The guy said drink this before we did it. I was like, okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Anywho.
Longest first segment.
That's fine. All right. That's the end of the first segment. It's the AFDE show, Batacola Ferrari Discuss Everything. This is podcast number 19. It's called Pink Punters. We're brought to you by Mickey Finn's. They are Lake County's original brew pub, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in beautiful and historic downtown Libertyville.
So, my kidneys feel a lot better in this position. Maybe it's just that I'm not doing any calisthenics. If I did some sit-ups in the morning or bent over like this, I'd probably feel 100% better. Moon River. Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
Welcome back into the program. It's episode 19 of the AFDE show, Batacola Ferrari Discuss Everything. It's called Pink Punters. He's Ferrari. I'm a Batacola. Welcome into segment number 2. Of course, we're brought to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's first brew pub, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville. Check them out online. They do have live entertainment every weekend. Actually, tomorrow night, they have a tribute band. It's a Johnny Cash, June Carter tribute band. I am very interested in going out and seeing.
Definitely go see that.
The only problem is it starts at 10, which is really late for an old guy to go out to start something.
Yeah, but you can walk to and from. It's not that bad.
So I think I'm going to go check that out tomorrow.
Maybe
so Johnny Cash.
Maybe take some naps.
Yeah, if I can take a nap before I get out there. Johnny Cash, June Carter tribute band. So they do have live music every weekend. You can check them out online or on Facebook. At Mickey Finn's on Twitter and find out what they have going on. Of course, great people, great food, and fantastic beer. Santa's Magic is still in the house.
Oh, yeah.
You still have a chance to get out there and enjoy some of that while it's being brewed. So make sure you do that. So welcome into segment number 2 of episode 19, Pink Punters. Thanks for being a part of the show, for contributing to it and reaching out via the social media network connections, as well as downloading and telling your friends and family members and neighbors about the program. We start off segment 2.
Especially the neighbors.
The neighbors. You've got to wake them in the middle of the night and tell them, download the AFDE show.
Or just
do
play
it
it really loud so they have no choice.
Right. If you live in a high-rise or an apartment
that
building.
show?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, put the speaker up to a wall and play it for your neighbors, even if they don't want to hear it. We start off segment 2 of every episode with That's So Wisconsin. And, of course, it is brought to you by our good friends, Will's Northwoods Inn.
Yeah, at 3030 North Racine in Lakeview in Chicago. You guys know that drill. But so we always kind of try and find something else. We find some funny things. I don't ever actually really want to call them negative things. It's more like things that we don't know that we think are interesting or a little bit different. But I was kind of scouring through some Wisconsin stuff, and there's always criminal things, but that's everywhere, that we find, and we'll get into that.
Well, mainly Ohio and Florida.
Next segment. Yeah, actually, the funny thing is I found a whole bunch of things in Florida,
right,
unintentionally this
Usually
week.
Florida.
But I found something really cool. It was actually last week, and then I couldn't find anything better than this week because this is really interesting. So there is a military base, an Air Force base in Madison, and I would not have known about that until I moved there.
Yep.
And I actually worked at a company that was next to it, and I still didn't know because you wouldn't know, driving up to there. But I happened to go to the grocery store, a Hy-Vee, which is like a huge brand new grocery store. It has like a sushi bar in it. It's kind of like a Mariano's up there.
Okay. And
there are a bunch of people walking in greens actually, no, they were greens, but the Air Force is a different pattern. And I'm like, what the hell is going on here? And then I hear, like, it's like, holy.
A jet flew through the grocery store.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right in the produce section. But, I was like, what the hell? And then there was someone that I talked to. I'm like, oh, yeah, there's an Air Force base next door. So anyway, I learned that when I moved up there. But apparently the United States government went through about 15 different locations throughout the United States, all who have smaller Air Force bases, to figure out where that they're going to put their new F-35 fighter jets.
Okay.
Madison got picked.
There you go.
So that is where it's from the Pentagon, decision from the Pentagon. Madison is going to be the new location for all the F-35 jets. And there were some pretty significant cities considered. But Oh, here, I see the name. Our Tammy Baldwin, who I voted for when we were up there, who, if I'm not mistaken, is the first lesbian person in the United States Congress, was a part of getting that to come to Madison. So that's cool in itself.
Yeah, the F-35A, they have a little comparison chart here to the F-16, which I think, even if you're a casual observer of the military, you know what an F-16 is.
Have you ever seen Top Gun?
Which is only one of the greatest movies ever made. F-35A, a little bit longer, has a little wider wingspan. Wing area is a little larger in size as well.
Faster.
The internal fuel, 7,000 pounds compared to 18,000 pounds. So that's a pretty big difference there.
It's more fuel efficient. It's lighter.
F-35A. Yeah, so that's
I'm
pretty
glad
cool.
we're going in that direction. It'd be bad if we were in the other direction.
Right.
Well, no, it's heavier. It has more fuel.
Slower.
It's louder.
Doesn't shoot anything.
Yeah.
Barely flies.
Tom Cruise is wearing jeans and shirtless in it.
Yeah,
it's
so
just
that's
weird.
very, very cool. So Madison will get this, the Madison's Air National Guard base. So that's a pretty big boost.
Yeah,
for
man.
the
The
state
Dane
of,
County
of
International
Wisconsin.
Airport, right in
Nice.
that area. It's cool. It's actually, and when we moved to our new apartment in Middleton, it's not close to it.
Yeah.
But like because we were so high up, you could actually like see them flying over, man. It's actually really cool. You wouldn't expect that if you're in Madison.
Yeah,
right?
when I was in high school, I went down to Arkansas where my brother was stationed in the Air Force, and I went down to the runway, and I would sit down there and watch different jets come in and out. And he called me one day, and he said, "You got to get down here as fast as you can." And there was an English plane called a Harrier.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Harrier can lift straight off the air like a helicopter.
Yeah.
And then take off from that position. One of those actually landed and took off while I was there, so I got to see that in person as I was in high school, where I don't know, was sophomore, junior year.
Which we didn't actually see any kind of technology like that, or I guess you call it technology. I don't really
for
know,
sure.
Aeronautics or whatever. But we didn't see anything like that really brought to our attention until like movies.
Yeah.
But that was a technology that existed in Europe.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's
really
super
cool. I was very, very fortunate to see that in person. So that is our That's So Wisconsin, of course, brought to you by Will's Northwoods Inn, 3030 North Racine in the Lakeview area. Check them out online because there's more than just Wisconsin sports, more than just Wisconsin bar. It's a great place to go hang out.
They have specials every day of the week. They have a really good trivia that I've now seen firsthand. I suck at it, but but they have it nonetheless. What's kind of interesting is I never really, I guess, up until this point, appreciated like Wisconsin beer. Still not a Pabst guy.
Yeah.
But since Schlitz came out with their original formula versus the crap that it used to be, man, you can go there 7 days a week and get tall boys for $2.
Wow.
So
that's a good deal.
Hell yeah, man. It's real. I enjoyed it, and I didn't have a massive poop hangover. So
There you go.
if you don't know what that is, it's when you have a hangover in your head and a hangover in your butt.
In your butt, yeah. All right, so that's So Wisconsin. We do it every episode to start off segment number 2. Again, this is episode number 19. Pink Punters, Abaticola, and Ferrari discuss everything. So that gets us into the news and some stories that if you didn't see, you needed to see these stories, which is why we bring them to you.
I know we're all shocked that I found something from Europe.
The Mirror?
More,
Yep.
yeah. Well,
So bizarre.
yeah, Daily Mirror. There's a couple of sites, but before.
There's a warning.
No,
There's a warning on your
Yes.
story.
Before
this
this-
contains sexual content that some people may find offensive.
before like
Not you sick people out there. Some of you, though, may find it
before
offensive.
the content of the story, the fact that a place is called Poundland made me
Poundland.
so happy. Okay, so the headline is Poundland shares picture of Christmas elf toy doing something extremely dirty.
Wow.
Which means this store on its Twitters, on its social media handle, put something out. And here, let's scroll down. And here is their tweet.
Wow.
How do you take your tea? 1 lump or 2, which shows your traditional elf on a shelf holding an actual tea bag between his legs with what looks like a Barbie
doll?
of some
Yeah.
sort. So, yeah, she's actually being teabagged. That was on the Twitter. Matt, I would love for you to read some of the responses on Twitter to this that make me very happy.
All right, here's one from, I won't even say the people's names, but this is incredibly grim. Poundland is your social campaign being run by an 11-year-old who's just found out about sex. Here's one. What a tedious attempt to outrage marketing. Hope it blows up in your face.
Just that. just the verbiage on that was so good.
Caroline Perez, you walked into that one there, girlfriend. Did you guys actually okay this use of your product? Doesn't seem to gel with your general image. Wow.
All right, and then here's
another one.
Well, no.
Just that. Okay.
Just that, yeah.
We asked what Upmark Tea brand Twinings thought of its products being used in an image of a toy elf squatting over a female figurine. In a statement, a spokesperson said, "We are aware of an image that is circulating that misuses our product. We had no involvement in this, and is obviously not reflective of our brand values." Delving deeper, Poundland has been sharing risque elf pictures for some time. There's another one. Go ahead, scroll down. I want to see this. Buzz off, Darth. My lightsaber is bigger than yours.
And he's holding definitely a
sex toy.
Dildo.
It's a sex
that
toy.
Is definitely a dildo.
All right, what's the next one?
Hold on, we got another one.
Next one is first come, first served. Free mustache ride. So there's an elf on the shelf with a mustache.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's one very prickly Christmas tree.
Oh, and it's dick and balls on what looks to be a, what do you call that?
Etch and sketch.
Etch and sketch.
Wow. Elf, we know it's nippy outside, but that kind of nippy, and there is an elf drawing boobs on a windshield covered in snow. Wow. That's one way to scratch that itch. It's not Santa's toothbrush, is it? And he's using a toothbrush on his rectum.
Yes, to scratch his ass.
Wow.
And that's
it.
Yeah. So,
so it's
Poundland,
definitely been done before.
Poundland is, well, kind of my hero. I want to go to that store.
I won't get into it because I don't have everything in front of me. I didn't pull it up, but Cowboy Chris mentioned to me the Wendy's Twitter account. Are you familiar with Wendy's, the burger place, Twitter account?
Other than it existing, no.
I was not aware of how they operate on their Twitter handle, but like, dude, they are ruthless in going after other fast food chains.
Which is like the worst business practice, but is it like
it's
hilarious?
Very funny. It's very funny though. There was like somebody tweeted, it was like, "Hey, I just bought this from Taco Bell. What should I do with it?" And the Wendy's responded. They said, "Throw it in the garbage."
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, there was really funny stuff. I'll pull some up for one of our tweet segments. Okay. I was very unaware that Wendy's is very aggressive in their campaigning on their Twitter account.
Fully doing
all right, we'll do Wendy's
responses.
Oh, wow.
All right. I know this is coming and it's still funny. All right, so the headline of this one is Amazon pulls DIY circumcision training kit. Matt, if you will...
A circumcision training kit feared to encourage potentially deadly DIY surgery has been removed from Amazon. The kit includes a model of a young boy's genitals with a dark or light-skinned dummy available.
Right. So I like that part too. A dark or light-skinned dummy.
To perform a mock circumcision with a selection of scalpels. Wow. And then there are a bunch of penis inserts. Wow.
Just keep going.
Amazon circumcision kit, which was listed between a price between 355 and 456 euros, was listed by ESP, a third-party seller. The online retail giant removed the item, after the National Secular Society wrote to UK manager Douglas Gurr, Gurr, claiming it could encourage people with no medical qualifications to carry out potential life-threatening procedures at a home. Wow.
I know.
I mean, dude, Amazon is super strict on things. Like, we had a product that Amazon pulled, our cleanse product. It's a 3-in-1 cleanse product. It's a probiotic. It's an anti-parasitic, and it's got your daily fiber, and you take it for a healthy colon, healthy digestive system.
So not like juice cleanse, but more just to
a daily cleanse.
As a daily probiotic,
as a daily supplement.
Okay.
Yep, you take this.
I take that
Yeah,
now.
right. And there was an issue with some of the wording regarding the probiotic nature or the anti-parasitic nature. I think it was the anti-parasitic nature, and they pulled our product off Amazon. And dude, somehow this made it to Amazon, like a DIY circumcision kit.
Honestly,
are you kidding me?
I have seen some of the strangest, nothing like this, but like you go to Amazon and I'll be like trying to find like a shoe brand, not or the name of a shoe. So like if it's North Face, like whatever the style name is, and you look that up and it'll be like shoe book title that may or may not contain the name, and then like some weird ass shit. Like there is everything on Amazon, and I have to wonder if I wonder what the auditing system is at the beginning, and I feel like it gets into the marketplace, and then they find it and they're like, oh shit. But I mean, there is some
maybe
weird
the filter
shit
into the system might be a little tighter. Yeah,
right.
That's strange.
I mean, I'm guessing that they didn't come up with any name other than circumcision kit.
Here, let's pull up this last story and we just tell people to go to it, and we could post it after the fact because the video is worth watching. It's very funny.
Oh wait, why don't I just do this? Okay.
That's all right. Yeah, this is very, very funny.
All right, so the name of it is actually there's like a bunch of different ways. The original article is on the
Irish Examiner.com.
It's not the Trish Examiner, which I
That's
see
what it looks like.
Clearly it's my wife's name, but Irish Examiner. But it's watch toddler interrupts wrestling match to save his big sister. What I like about this site the most, it's on like several sites, but on this one they actually show the whole match.
Yeah.
So once the funny part that we're going to talk about happens, you actually get to watch the sister and the other dude wrestle.
So there's a toddler girl and a young girl and a young boy who are in an actual wrestling match. Like that's an actual padded wrestling area and actual wrestling match, and there's a referee. And the match starts. This young girl and young boy, and off the camera runs in a young toddler boy,
her younger brother,
who's rushing in to save her, thinking she's being beaten up.
Yep.
And he takes the other wrestler down.
Dude.
Now the best part of watching this video is the reaction of the people there.
They all laughed their asses off.
Some guy almost fell off his chair.
Oh yeah,
laughing so hard.
No, but then the guy shooting the video is like, oh, like any of us would be, and goes, that's pretty much the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, we'll post this on our Twitter timeline and Facebook as well.
So good.
It's irishexaminer.com, but it's definitely worth watching. We'll have that for you after we release episode 19, Pink Punters, which brings us now into our weekly segment of Dumb Criminals. And our story today, I'm not going to tell you the state because the name of the state is in the title of the story. This comes from the Huffington Post. They're very big contributors this week.
Oh boy, back to back. Oh yeah, until wait.
Third segment. Yeah. Blank man beats up ATM for giving him too much cash. Police say.
Well, I saw that one.
Did you?
Yeah. The reason he got arrested.
A Florida man.
Yeah, I know. I read
has been charged with criminal mischief after he reportedly beat up a cash machine last month. The reason? It gave him too much money. Michael Joseph Oleksik of Merritt Island was arrested Thursday after a 3-week investigation into a disturbance that took place November 29th at a Wells Fargo branch in Cocoa. Surveillance video shows Oleksik repeatedly punching the ATM's touchscreen, according to Florida Today. Witnesses told police that Oleksik, the 23-year-old man, called the bank a short time later and told a manager he'd punched the ATM. Oleksik reportedly said he was angry the ATM was giving him too much money and he did not know what to do. He then apologized for damaging the ATM and said he was in a hurry to get to work. Despite the apology, Wells Fargo chose to press charges against Oleksik, who was arrested Thursday and booked in Brevard County Jail. He was released a short time later after posting bond, according to the New York Daily News.
Now, you know how we all have these, strange instinctual responses to things?
Yeah.
That wouldn't have been mine, but I guess I can't say that. Like you're sitting there and it's like throwing out money, and I think that most of us would be like, "Fuck yeah!" Like it's like a you're in Vegas,
right? Like you hit the
slot
jackpot
machine, just throwing money out. But like, can you imagine like you're like, I don't know what to do, and you start like
punching
it,
like to the point where you damage it.
Right?
Like, that's a lot.
I know, but I mean, like, other than the damaging part,
Right.
like in my mind, I'm not completely judgmental of this guy for like, we can't
Just get flustered.
We don't know. Yeah.
Late for work.
And you just bam, bam,
and
bam.
so maybe
like,
he's like, is this going to ruin my bank account now? Is
yeah,
this going to take money out?
Is this coming out of my account?
Right. Am
Like,
I going to be short now? Is this
yeah.
stuff that I'm paying? Right.
So, like the violence of it that actually like damaged the machine, but at the same time, I've seen cash machines. I know I could damage it
Right.
by like a couple of shots or a kick. Like
I probably wouldn't have punched it. I would have grabbed all the money, would have made sure that it was done giving money. I would have made sure that my transaction was completed, would have taken the money, and even if I was late, I would have rushed off to
go into
work.
and then tell the bank,
Or no, get to work and then just be like, hey, I gotta take care of this. I mean, this maybe the guy maybe he checked his account at work and it would have been short, but I definitely would have just taken the money and just gone back to the bank and been like, hey. Now here's the question for you.
I just feel like it was a moment
if you
of
go in
panic.
there? What if you go there and you pull $20 out of your account and it gives you $400, and then you go and check and only $20 was removed from your account? You have an extra $380.
I don't feel like that karma works in my favor.
What would you do?
Honestly,
Well, what if it did, though? What would you do?
Bank. Honestly, I would tell the bank. Maybe earlier in my life I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, karma does not work that way, and definitely not in my favor. So I'd be like, hey man, I took a withdrawal. I would tell. Like it would bite me in the ass.
No, today I would tell. Today
Yeah.
I would turn the money back.
Earlier in my life?
Yeah.
Absolutely
I'd have
not.
kept it
It'd
in
be
a
like me
second.
finding someone's wallet.
Yeah.
Today, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that this person gets their wallet back.
Yeah,
Just different.
I think even back then, I think a wallet I would have been different about. But ATM spitting out money that's not mine, I definitely would have kept years ago.
People have
now,
done it.
Today, I would definitely have given it back.
People have done it from like, be sitting in an Uber.
Yeah.
And especially in like winter jackets where you put your phone and your wallet in like the stupid puffy pockets.
Yeah.
And they slide out. I've had people, Uber driver or people in the back of an Uber or a cab
Yeah.
call me about my wallet or call me from my phone that has slid out.
Dude, this is listen to this story. I just thought of this when you told me. So years ago, I'm out downtown, a couple buddies, and we're at a bar. One buddy wants to go back to his place, and he wants to go home. We're not ready to leave yet. He takes an Uber, goes home. Sometime later, however much time passed, we decide to take an Uber, go back to his house. We're taking the Uber.
Same Uber.
No, it's the same Uber. Our buddy lost his phone, left it in that car, that Uber. He
That's
didn't.
what I
It
was
was
gonna say, same
in the
Uber?
back seat.
No shit.
We're sitting on it. Though don't even know we're sitting on it. Go to call him to say, hey, we're on our way.
Vibrate under your ass?
Vibrates under the ass. Look up. It's his phone in our hands as he's calling him to tell him we're on the way back to his house.
Is
Get to his house.
unbelievable.
He's frantic. He's panicked. I lost my phone. I don't know where it is. We're like, dude, we have your phone. He's like, oh, you guys had it. We're like, no, dude.
No.
We got it
You
in the
called it
Uber.
under my ass.
We got
in
the
same
got the
car.
same exact Uber. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
And,
No.
like, if that didn't happen to me, I would never believed it.
No.
It's insane.
No.
All right, so the money comes out. He punches the thing. Today, we give it back. In the past,
I really
we
would.
kept. Oh no, I agree, 100%, 100%. All right, so we go from dumb criminals to our weekly segment here in segment number 2. Again, this is episode 19, Pink Punters, and it brings us to Jason Ferrari and this week's dumb apps,
All right, we've consolidated from 5 to 2,
which is very fine.
yeah,
Yes.
and we've found some gems. The first one is called Pet Baby. The app allows you to turn your... I'm reading... This is actually the description from the app. The app allows you to turn your pet into a science fiction nightmare by merging its face with a human baby. I looked at some of the photo. I don't download these apps because I don't want these on my
Right.
phone. But I looked at some of the photos, and you know how we've got like these bad apps or these things that add on to like your
Yeah, you can
photos.
do, yeah,
with,
you can do
like,
or you can do like a face swap.
like-
Some things
like
have
a
face
unicorn horn or something like
Yeah.
that. This shit was like terrifying.
Really?
It was like just even it doesn't even need to be a science fiction character. Like it was taking a dog and combining it with a baby face, and they were all really, really bad. Like really, really scary. And I don't know what the hell you're doing that you want to do this. Like, because my guess is, unless you're some weirdo with random human baby faces, these are parents, right? Like, who's doing this? Like, who would be like, hey, here's a photo of my niece. Maybe I should combine it with some kind of a horrible science fiction character.
Yeah.
So these are parents doing this. So that's one thing.
Pet baby.
Pet baby.
All right.
The next one is, this is, I mean, yeah, like Matt says a lot, they just keep getting dumber. But this one actually, apparently they tried to correct their dumbness, which makes it even dumber. So it's called Pocket Heat. And this app used to exist, which would figure out a way to like literally use your battery power to overheat your iPhone to
keep your
project
hands warm.
warmth. Okay.
Well, because phones get hot. They do get real hot.
Right. But this one on purpose was
drain your battery.
Drain your battery to keep your hands warm, which in my mind creates a pretty significant fire hazard. But now that it's become an issue, well, Apple has really put the clamps down.
I think if you're out, though, too, you'd rather have cold hands than a dead phone.
Right?
But, okay.
Or, yeah. So Apple's clamped down. The iTunes store is clamped down. And now it's, this is in the description, quote, a faux heater that does its best to heat you up using nothing more than pixels and sound waves. So now it's like a lot of these other dumb apps that we bring up that don't do anything, kind of like the kitchen scale, which has no ability to weigh food. Right. This one just apparently makes beeps and shows like red waves that project heat, but they don't provide any.
I guess if you think it's working and making you warm, then maybe mentally it'll make you warm and you'll feel
that's totally how it
cold.
works.
Wow.
I know when I'm like in sub-zero temperatures, when I look at something that looks hot, I know it makes me feel better.
Then we could actually develop our own app that it's like a picture of a meatball sub. So when you're hungry, you could just look at it, and then it slowly gets eaten off your screen, and then you could feel full.
Which just pisses me off and makes me more hungry.
Like, wow, I feel full now. I watched a meatball disappear
off
my screen.
App.
All right, that's this week's edition of Dumb Apps and Dumb
I know they
Criminals.
might feel underwhelming, but they're dumb.
No, they're dumb. They're very dumb. And that brings a close to segment number 2. Of course, we're brought to you by our good friends Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue. We'll wrap things up with segment 3 coming up after this.
We want it now! The meatloaf!
What is she doing? I never know what she's doing back there.
All right, welcome back into the program. This is segment 3 of episode 19, Pink Punters. Abaticola and Ferrari discuss everything. For us, it is December 28th. Hope you had a fantastic Christmas. Looking forward to a really wonderful weekend celebrating 2018 and the brand new year. So that brings us to our funny tweets. Oh, of course, we're brought to you by Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub, 345 North Milwaukee Avenue in Libertyville. If you have not had Santa's Magic yet, please do so before they stop making it for the year. If they're not out yet, they're going to be out really, really soon.
Do you think you can grab one for next week?
A growler
All right.
for next week that'll keep for us. So we start off segment 3 with our best tweets of the week. Jason handles the Twitter account for AFDE Show. You can go find us at AFDE Show, and likes the tweets that we follow, and he'll bring those to the segment here. I of course like to bring to you, because you don't read these, from the Huffington Post.
Purposely, I used to.
These are the most hilarious tweets from parents each week, but because it is the end of the year, we have a different category for you. It's the 50. We're not going to read all 50.
Holy
trust me, because
shit.
you would fall over and die. They're so funny. These are the 50 most hilarious tweets from parents this year.
Ooh,
so this is a recap of the year.
How many did you pick?
I'm just going to read through from the list.
You're just skimming?
I don't edit. I just read from the top to bottom.
Well, I got you. All right.
I don't
want to make sure.
No, because I like to be just as surprised as all of you. Here's our first one. Remember, these are the funniest tweets this year. The funniest tweets this year from parents, according to the Huffington Post. And this is from at Let Me Start. Me expecting my first baby. I'll love him and guide him and always be there. Me now. Just figure it out. I mean, come on, guys. Geez, I just sat down. Does it help when I really get into it? I mean, does it add the hilariousness?
Well, yeah, I've slid to the right, and then I'll move to the left if.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Here's the handle at that Evans lady. At that Evans lady. Well, you're up early. Me greeting my children every morning since they were born. These are the funniest ones of the year. So imagine the thousands they've combed through.
Have you found repeats of or?
I saw one repeat. Maybe I'll get to
recognize the handle.
Here's at Mother Playlist. Parenting is 99% getting roasted by your kids. Here's one from at Exploding Unicorn.
That one wasn't like horrible.
No. At Exploding Unicorn.
Ooh, that's gross.
My 2-year-old called the vehicle for sick people a wee-woo truck, and now I don't even remember what the right name is anymore.
Talking about an ambulance?
Yes. Remember, these are the funniest ones of the year. Here's one that is actually a repeat, and I'm not going to read it because it wasn't funny. But it came to us from at Honest Toddler. Remember this one?
Yes, I do.
Receptionist at pediatrician's office, child's birth date and year. Me, mother of 3. Wow, okay, I didn't know there was going to be math. Nervous laughter. Let's see. He's 4. It was late April or May. Rainy, I think. He's a classic Gemini, if that helps. This isn't in his file. Again, that made it to one of the funniest tweets of the year.
That might have been after the 280 character count, right? Because that feels like a paragraph.
Very long.
All right.
Here's one at Crazy Exhaustion. Never was there a woman so sought after as a mother talking on the phone. Oh my God, I'll answer your 37 questions when I'm off. Get away from me.
What does off mean? Like you like a parent break?
I'm off the phone. Off the phone. She's saying that she gets 37 questions asked of her when she's on the phone.
Okay.
That's what happens to every...
I think I...
Maybe stop ignoring your kids and stay off the phone, lady.
I think I blacked out during the first part.
Here's one from at No Sleep in Brooklyn.
Oh, God.
No one listens until I yell the name of my parenting memoir. No one listens until I yell the name of my parenting memoir. Jay, these are the funniest ones of the year.
I'm a little more irritated that was like a play on a Beastie Boys song.
Sure was. Here is one from at Walking Outside. I love my kids more than life itself, and also, please, for the love of God, say it's their bedtime. Here's one from Unfiltered Mama. At Unfiltered Mama, the tea party my toddler invited me to feels more like a hostage situation.
What? Okay.
I'm going to read one more for you. This is from at Blue Bonnet Babies. We've heard her before.
That's a repeat. Yeah.
When your son pours himself a cup of milk from the gallon jug and your life flashes before your eyes. You can continue on. Just go to Huffington Post and you can just do a Google machine search action for it.
Can we analyze that one real quick?
Yeah, sure. Let me get back to it. At Blue Bonnet Babies.
No, I know, but what do we think that means?
When your son pours himself a cup of milk from the gallon jug and your life flashes before your eyes.
So you're thinking about like the spilling?
Because she's afraid he's going to spill the whole gallon.
Okay.
The whole,
just want to make sure, because otherwise I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, the spilling. Spilling.
Yeah.
Got it.
If you want to read the other 44, you can do so. Because those were the 50 most hilarious tweets from parents. Those, now remember, those were the funniest tweets of the entire year.
Are we surprised? We read them week to week.
No, those were hilarious.
This is a compiling of.
I'm going to take a break right now because I have to regain my composure because my belly hurts.
Okay.
All the belly laughter.
Mine does, but I think it's from. I don't know what it's from.
You have to make poo poo.
I kind of do.
All right, so now these are the best tweets from Twitter handles that we follow. You can follow us at AFDE Show on the Twitter machines.
Where did it go? This one didn't pull up. Okay. I sent this to you. Conan is like a hilarious follow.
His profile picture is worth the follow.
Oh yeah, I know. If you haven't seen that sketch, he went and found, like, he did a war reenactment for like one of his actual relatives, super funny. He's got a mustache,
sideburns,
and
mustache,
and a corn cob
pipe. Yeah, it's great.
But anyway, this is right after our
Civil War.
Our delightful tax plan was passed. Ugh.
Largest tax break in American history.
Yeah,
no,
good
it's
times.
not. Yep.
So his tweet is, rich people are really going to take a bath with this new tax plan. In money. They will bathe in money. Yep. Like, just follow him.
At Conan O'Brien.
Very, very good.
We've mentioned him before. Always good stuff.
Yes. So the next one is, I know people are, you like him or you don't. And if you don't, I don't know what to do with you. But Bill Maher, his response to a similar situation is, well, they did it. Finally, someone had the courage to stand up for America's forgotten corporations. JK, fuck you, assholes. Hope you choke on it.
Yep.
God, I love him so much.
At Bill Maher, and if you don't know him,
Yep.
Maher, Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Entertaining show.
So there's that. All right, and I know we're all shocked that there is something from the Daily Mirror, but this one, look up the article as you will, but the tweet is, man with world's second biggest penis claims record holder, in quotes, cheated with weights.
Wow.
So if you go read the article, he basically says that some guy hung weights on his dong and he won. I guess maybe we need to...
No, I'm good.
No, but read the article further to understand, because Trish asked earlier, how do you get ranked? I said, I don't know. I don't want to know.
He's not an attractive man by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, yeah, but he's apparently hung like something.
Second biggest guy in the world.
He's hung like something.
Who's been measured.
Yeah, apparently. All right.
Congrats.
Hold on. Oh, this one, completely non-gross or weird. I loved this.
Yeah,
and it was the first one that I know that this was shared by a lot of people in the Chicago media, but I loved this so much. From Dan Wider, Zach Miller accepts Media Good Guy Award. Guy could not be more deserving of it, regardless of the injury.
Right.
Super cool.
No, and he was out there before the game. He was introduced before the game on Sunday against Cleveland. Heard again, one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my 16 years doing Chicago media.
So hoping that he will come on our show. And
you think, all right, well, big deal. That's what Baticola has to say. Hub Arkish, who has been involved in Chicago Bears media coverage for decades,
forever, yeah.
And he's a sideline reporter for Westwood One, so he covers teams. He covers the NFL. Pro Football Weekly forever.
Right.
The guy knows the NFL. He knows so many people for decades in the NFL. The other day, talking about Zach Miller, said he is easily one of the nicest guys he's ever met. You think of the thousands of people he's come across in doing this job. And his hope is, he said, I thought it was really nice. He just said, if Zach wants to play football again, because he's such a great guy, he just hopes it happens for him.
And he
doesn't think it's going to happen.
No, but
probably
and
won't.
He will though.
Right.
If someone wants to do it, you know what? You just said something, but I wonder if he said one of the nicest guys that he's come across, but I feel like what he means though, right, is like the nicest athletes, the most forthcoming, someone who plays and isn't a pretentious prick, not just the nicest guy, because we meet a lot of nice people in the pro and professional sports.
Zach Miller was always he was always there,
approachable.
Right, he was always there to answer no matter
good interview.
Right.
Yeah,
it didn't matter what the game, the outcome of the game, his role in the game, his lack of productivity in a game, maybe. he was always there to talk to the media. But again, is just a real sweetheart of a guy.
Good.
So yeah, congratulations to him for the great guy, great media guy award.
Rough year for him, and I'm glad that happened though. Someone who deserves it. So the last one, the last tweet is, if you follow @Inc. I actually read this magazine. I follow this handle every day.
If you don't know, INC.
Yeah, I read it every single day, because I find it very interesting just to find out what's going on in business. But they kind of do a different approach. It's not lame, it's not like reading the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not calling them. Yeah, fuck them. I'm calling them lame. Wall Street Journal, give me a break. But I just kind of like this, and Matt and I have touched on this. Obviously, we kind of rely on social media sometimes to get our word out. We are doing a best tweet segment, but I respect what this says. Former Facebook VP says social media is ripping us apart and we should all take a hard break. It's an odd thing to do in a social media segment, but at the same time, it's something that I kind of agree with.
No, I think there's an absolute appropriateness to social media, and I think it has a point. The one thing I truly do love about Twitter is just the immediateness of news being transferred from one person to another. I love that aspect of it. I definitely do a lot less social media since I left the Score, so that's I'm fine with that. I saw this story and then saw a follow-up to it where there are teenagers, and they had a specific story about a young girl who actually went to like an almost social media rehab. She was so addicted to social media, she would post something and name a social media site and would develop anxiety if there wasn't responses to her post like immediately. Like it got that bad for her, which I'm sure happens to a lot more people.
Oh, I guarantee it.
And I'm sure with a young person who isn't fully developed yet from an emotional and psychological standpoint, the kind of damage that can do, leading to your psyche being damaged and just feeling like, oh, that can lead you to really easily to a path of I'm not liked, I'm not loved, I'm not wanted, I'm not desired, I'm not. People don't want to correspond with me. That can easily take those steps where she had to go to an actual like rehab type, almost like a social rehab facility to kind of develop a pattern to get out of that. It's terrible.
It's like any other addiction. You know what? What's interesting for me is what I've done with social. I used to be on Facebook all the time, but not just posting. Like I said, but what actually ended up leading me into a career in social media, which thankfully is curtailed into something like less like this and more strategic. But I used to post as a social experiment just to see how people would respond and then like gauge their response and then post based on that. And then it turned into work, right? Like it actually turned into a job. Thank God, because it's, what I do as a career and I love it. But like I've gone from being on Facebook all the time to I'm barely on it. I look at it for pictures of my friends' kids and pictures of my niece. Like that's really it. I used to be on Twitter all the time for sports. I've gone from that to posting for our show and checking the people that we follow and we are very limited and strategic in terms of who we follow because like it's very easy to follow a ton of people and then like people that you actually want to see what they're saying get buried in your feed. So I've gone from being on Facebook all the time to being on Twitter all the time to never giving like a shit about Instagram to barely being on Facebook, only following Twitter for our show and being on Instagram a lot more because now I appreciate everything visually. So like I've personally made that. And so I appreciate what this guy's saying.
Yeah, I do Facebook stuff for work. Twitter, I still really enjoy Twitter. I'm not nearly on it as much as I was when I was working every day.
Same thing.
Because
like,
I was on it all the time.
Hell out of it. I'm just more strategic about who we follow as a handle.
Personally,
and who I follow.
I like it in the morning just to see what news stories or what stuff happened that I might want to catch up on. So
it's just nice to not follow as many people so you can actually see stories you want.
Yeah, and then anything to retweet that's negative about 45, I like to do that. So that's
well, see, but I follow you for that.
Yeah. I love this.
I follow you for that, so I don't have to do it.
I got to get a response from him sometime. I mean, I tweeted him a lot. I really want him to respond.
At some point, you're going to say something irritating enough that guy is going to be taking a dump, and he's going to say something.
I hope so.
Me too, actually. No, because we will change that to the photo of our show.
Right.
If he ever responds to you, that will be the photo. The profile photo of the AFDE show.
All right, so for us today, it is December 28th. For you, it's obviously after that. Again, we hope you had a fantastic Christmas and hope you have a safe and wonderful New Year celebrating the entrance of 2018. So we go to this day in history, and for us, again, it is December 28th. And our first one is December 28th, 1869.
America's first Labor Day. So this was the beginning of what we as a country celebrate as Labor Day. But
I never knew this.
I did not. I can't see that far because now the monitor is turned towards you.
The Knights of Labor.
All right. The Knights of Labor. Wait. All right. I got my glasses on. A labor union of tailors in Philadelphia hold the first Labor Day ceremonies in American history. The Knights of Labor was established as a secret society of Pennsylvania tailors earlier in the year and later grew into a national body that played an important role in the labor movement of the 19th century. So it started way back then and it has become the Labor Day of today.
Yeah, and so the first annual observance of Labor Day was organized by the American Federation of Labor. Wow, very interesting, and resolved in a convention in Chicago.
Yep.
That the first Monday in September be set aside as laborers' national holiday.
Yeah.
There you go. So December 28th, 1869, and we move on to this day in history.
Yes, I know. This is I'm telling you right now,
wow.
We planned to do a show last week, and there were some other really cool this day in history.
December 28th.
This one we were kind of hurting.
No, this is good.
Well, no. So I went through the list today.
Yeah.
And a lot of them were like violent things. Like a lot of times this day in history are like violent things, violent battles.
You know, I actually knew this because I saw Will Smith on his Instagram account posted a photo of he and this particular actor born December 28th, 1954.
Happy birthday.
Wishing him a happy birthday, yeah.
1954, Denzel Washington was born, one of our, well, I will say one of the greatest actors of our time.
Absolutely.
Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
I think he's outstanding. Good man, smart man. He's
one of those guys for me that he makes a movie, I'm going to see it. I don't need to know anything about it. I'm going to watch it.
I want to watch it.
Sure.
Yeah. And he actually is one of those people who spawned someone who ended up in the NFL. I don't think he's there anymore now. I think he's coaching, but his son. I believe was drafted by the Rams.
Yeah, and his son is actually one of the main characters on The Rock's HBO show.
Oh,
Ballers.
Yeah.
He's one of the main characters.
All right. And the last one, I think this one is the coolest of all three today. So for those of you who I'm assuming you remember, for our younger listeners, us included, right?
Yeah, I was 3 at this time.
Yes, but the 1980 Olympics, you probably weren't there when it happened. You probably weren't watching it when it happened. I actually was. I'm not saying I have fond memories one way or the other.
I actually remember watching
5.
it.
I do vaguely remember it because I remember like everyone screaming and like it was like a big deal. But the Russians versus American hockey game in 1980, which was turned into the movie Miracle. But this kind of series began in 1972, before Matt and I were alive, right? You were what, 73?
73. Yeah.
73, yeah. So before we were alive, it's been called different things at the time. They were called the Central Red Army, the Russians, and it was the New York Rangers. So they actually played a pro team. This happened more than once. All the games of this nature used to be all-stars from the United States, and then any of the Canadian players would play on a different team, and they all used to get their asses kicked by the Russian team, which was referred to as the Central Army. 1975 was the first time that the Russians were together and played the pros in the United States. Interesting enough, I don't know if you guys remember the movie Miracle, but what's the guy's name? Trediak.
Mm-hmm.
The guy was on this team for about 15 years. He was young and playing on the 1975 team. He was also playing on the 1980 team, and he was also playing on the 1984 team and the 1986 team. This guy played until he was 42. But 1975, Central Army defeats New York Rangers. The first time the Russian pro team beat the United States pro team in a competitive game.
If you notice, too, in this series, you see the pro teams they played. You see how the Blackhawks team name is spelled?
Yeah.
Until it
separated.
Separated. Yeah, I never knew that until, several years ago, going back and looking at some history of the team, I didn't know that it was the Black Hawks even when I was, even after I was born, as just a young child.
I would not have known that until reading this article in This Day in History.
So that was December 28th, 1975. The Central Red Army defeats the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden 7-3, which brings us into our final story of episode 19, Pink Punters, and this is our inspirational story of the day to say farewell to you.
I can't believe this is like the last episode and last show of this year. I feel like we've done it. It hasn't even been like that long, but yeah, 2017 coming to a close, man. All right, so the headline is 9-year-old gives up $300 Xbox to buy blankets for homeless, so Microsoft sends him one for free. And there you go, Manny.
So a 9-year-old boy from Beechwood, Ohio, has learned that those who give selflessly often receive unexpectedly. Micah Fry knows what poverty feels like. About 3 years ago, his family fell on hard times when they lost their home. They were forced to live in a shelter. Every day, Micah would get a blanket, and every day the shelter would have to take it back. This year, when he saw some homeless people out in the cold, he did some quick math. Now that his family was doing better, he knew he would be getting a $300 Xbox this year for Christmas. He figured that at $10 a blanket, he could buy 30 blankets instead of getting an Xbox. So instead of accepting the game system, he chose to buy the blankets instead. He then gave away each one to a homeless person in need. He knew what it was like to not have a blanket at night and to have to give it back, said his grandmother. So the first thing he wanted to do was give a blanket that they could keep. News of Micah's good deed spread quickly, catching the attention of the Xbox manufacturer, Microsoft. The company decided to surprise Micah with a new console that was the same model as the one he had traded for the blankets, and he was in tears. When they called and told me, I was just instantly crying on the phone. I couldn't believe it, said Terry, his grandmother. What's harder was not telling him. Employees led Micah to the back of the store where Santa had bags full of gifts, including the coveted Xbox. The family was very emotional. It's just amazing. It's a blessing. Micah is a blessing to our family, and we thank you very much. That's great. That's really, really cool. Very cool of Microsoft to give him one of their products for free. It would have been cool if they would like piggyback on that and start doing blankets through this kid. That would be awesome. That would be awesome to see Microsoft jump in with some blankets. But man, look at that kid at 9 years old. 9 years old and passing up playing a video game system, which I'm sure I wouldn't have done at 9, to give blankets to homeless people. Very, very, very cool. That's awesome, man. Micah Fry. So a good story from Ohio, too.
I know. Right when you said that, I was like, I'm going to not say anything about Ohio.
Yeah, no, there it is. Good story from Ohio.
Next week, we're going to find something good from Florida.
Well, good. Hope that brightens up your day a little bit here in that story. Very
brightens
cool.
Up your year?
About a 9-year-old. We want to thank you for downloading and listening not only to episode 19, Pink Punters, but our first 18 as well. If you need to catch up on those, we suggest you do that. Follow through with it and get all caught up before we start 2018 with episode 20. You can tell your friends and family, neighbors, coworkers all about the show. Connect with us on social media, on Twitter at AFDE Show, Facebook.com/AFDE Show, and of course, email us anytime, afdeshow@gmail.com. Big thank you to Will's Northwoods Inn for sponsoring That's So Wisconsin every segment or every week. They are at 3030 North Racine in the Lakeview area. And also, of course, our presenting sponsor, Mickey Finn's, Lake County's oldest brew pub. Live entertainment every weekend. Fantastic food, wonderful service, and terrific beer. Santa's Magic is still out. Make sure you get some. So on behalf of Jason, myself, thank you for being a part of our 2017. And we look forward to taking you even further throughout 2018 and beyond with new shows. Thanks again for downloading, being a part of it. We will talk to you next year.
Love you guys. Happy New Year.